Hello, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
We're talking Tennessee, Alabama. We're talking Penn State, Michigan. We're talking college football, and he's telling you to like and subscribe.
And comment.
Nice. Your
or
lock
mean.
of the week.
But most of all, enjoy and have a good weekend. We love you.
Happy.
We don't love you.
We love you.
Just like to point out that Casey Smith has brought a child's applesauce. She's already a mom.
Well,
You became a mom immediately.
First of all, yes.
The second you conceived, you were a mom.
Well, that is actually a fact. Well,
Whoa. Depends on the
I knew Jack was going to do this.
Big T's holding it in, too. Don't worry about it.
This is the thing is I didn't bring this. These are in our snack kitchen right now. This is in the kitchen as a snack that Barstool Sports
They're
purchased.
giving us a child's applesauce now?
So Jack did a funny TikTok about it was very funny, Jack. I know it's just
wait,
Jack.
wait.
It's just Jack. It's just Jack.
God, if Jack can TikTok, any of us should be able to TikTok.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Katie, it's a joke. We're making fun of what?
We're making fun of people making fun of him.
So Jack put up a very funny TikTok about our snack closet they have, and he's like, "These are for adults." This is even before I saw these. If you walk into our kitchen right now on the content floor, there is a gigantic section full of these. I could not have grabbed a whole handful faster.
I am so glad he did that TikTok because our snack section is an absolute it looks like it's for a daycare.
Well, I mean, Brandon.
It looks like for some. It'll have like what will it have? Little cookies and little push pops. Yeah.
They had Milanos today, and listen, give me a good dark chocolate Milano.
Yeah.
But these applesauce pouches, I'm pretty sure are actually made for children. Like they usually have like the kids logo on them, but they're delicious. So yes, I am going to suck this at some point during the show.
I just want that one part clipped, and we'll use that as a tease for the show. All right, y'all ready? Hello, welcome to Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast, brought to you by High Noon Hard Seltzer, the best drink in the world for college football. You're going to be tailgating this Saturday, or you're just watching TV on your couch this Saturday. Either way, perfect for the tailgate pack. 2 cranberry, 2 pear, 2 black cherry, 2 grapefruit, the 2 new flavors, and some old standbys. High Noon, the best drink in the world.
I can't wait to have one.
We're going to dive almost right into it because if you notice, Katie and Jack not here right now. But
correct.
It is time as we look towards a slate that includes 6 ranked-on-ranked matchups. You've got Michigan, Penn State. You've got Oklahoma State TCU. The big one, I think, is the lowest-ranked matchup, number 3, Alabama, against number 6, Tennessee in Knoxville, the biggest Tennessee game in 2 decades.
You know what I thought? When you said lowest ranked, I thought you were going to somehow make this about Mississippi State. So my apologies for doing that. You meant the lowest numbers.
I don't have the lowest numbers. You're right. Highest ranked, lowest numbers. Yes. It is weird how that works. The higher you rank, the lower the number. Okay, but
yes.
And I just want to get this out of the way before we get started. I acknowledge Mississippi State's probably going to lose.
You're doing what I always do. We'll talk about it later in the show. I know you did this in the college football show.
I've been here a lot.
You know, you may
my left titty's starting to stir. I can tell. I can tell when bad things are coming.
Your left titty can tell?
Yeah, my left titty can tell.
What's your right titty do?
Oh, he's stupid.
That's a he.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. Anyway, it is.
I would say the Alabama-Tennessee game, even though Michigan-Penn State is also a top 10 ranked matchup, has much more hate and vitriol attached to it.
One side pretends to be a rival as they hang on to the other side's coattails, and they act like it's a rival. But we'll get into that. There was a time about, 2 decades ago, maybe less than that, where the third Saturday in October was a holiday. A holy day in the states of Tennessee and Alabama. But for the last 15 years, Alabama has destroyed Tennessee every single year, so it hasn't really mattered. But now Tennessee is up off the mat. They're stirring a little bit. They got life. They have a Heisman candidate. They have a coach who's undefeated in his second year. And what better way to talk about it than to bring in the boys. On your left, you will have, representing the Tennessee Volunteers from Knoxville, Tennessee, it is
Big Tennessee.
Big T. Hello, Big T.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And to our right, sitting down right now, the dumbest Alabama fan in the office. Not the dumbest Alabama fan I've ever met, because, my God, they can get really stupid. His name is Shaun.
How's it going?
Travy's for the boys. Hello,
He's
Travy.
not the dumbest one in the office either.
There's a dumber Alabama fan here?
Couple.
There's 2 more. There's 2.
Like we have an unreal amount of Alabama grads here.
Grads is a stretch.
I think they all.
4 or 5
I think
of
they
them.
all
Grads
graduated.
are. A
I
stretch.
will say, of all the Alabama fans in the office that I have interacted with, Shaun is the most. I don't want to say like the most reasonable because no Alabama fan is reasonable. I wouldn't be either. He's the most like the calmest about it. That's probably the right word.
Let's get a couple things out of the way as we talk to you guys about this game. Okay. First of all, vibes might be a real thing. Going forward, going into a game, I look at this matchup and I see on one side one fan who has decked himself out in his colors. He is living his colors. He is ready for this game. If the game were in 5 minutes, he'd be ready to go. This guy has been waiting for this game his whole life.
This isn't a game day shirt. You don't wear black on game day. This is a weak shirt.
don't
So I wouldn't be ready, but
Take the
Wait,
goddamn
hold on.
compliment.
Wait, why wouldn't you wear black on game
Why
day?
did you just ruin
because
the
this
whole?
is actually I have a black quarter zip I'll sometimes wear, but I would orange polo under or white.
Well, that's a nice color.
It's a fine shirt, but it's not a
Not
game
a
day
game. Okay,
shirt.
all
Stop
right,
talking.
All right, I was interested
Not
in.
you.
Well, no, I was interested in why he wouldn't wear black on game day. Black looks nice on him.
No, it wasn't about.
Just go.
You're the one that ruined the whole fucking
What,
thing
are you
in the
are
first
you
place.
trying to be
This is
Rico?
why I'm on Alabama's side.
Hey.
This is why
No,
Alabama's
you're on
gonna beat your
Alabama's
ass.
side because you grew up when Tennessee was really good, and you're scared of that getting back to that.
No, because it doesn't
Because
matter.
at every turn it was like Florida's
No,
going
'cause
to
it
beat
doesn't
us.
matter.
LSU is going to humble Tennessee. Kentucky's a better program. Now it's
time,
Alabama,
time.
and we'll just
Time.
keep winning. And like I
Time.
told you,
I picked Tennessee to beat Florida and to cover against Florida. I picked Tennessee. I worried that Tennessee was going to get humbled at LSU, and they passed with flying colors. So if you're going to come in here with your ass on your shoulders and be a bitch about it, then this isn't going to last long.
I'm just saying it seems like at every turn it's Tennessee's this, that, and the other.
This is why I hate
No.
college football fans when they're whiny bitches like that.
I
here's-
told you before the
Brandon,
season, you better pray we're never good again, and you
he
still
did,
should.
He did warn us.
You said we better pray you don't finish 9-3,
Yeah.
and you're going to finish 9-3 with these.
9-3 would feel like a disappointment at this point. That's how fucking good we are.
Well, I don't know how good you are. We'll see.
I will say
And
that
they're-
he.
Do we ever get to talk to him?
Well, yes, but I wanted to give Big T some credit that earlier today, and I say credit as a Tennessee fan because he's not letting you off the hook because I said I think that Brandon's been kind of high on Tennessee. He was like, oh, no, and he pulled out receipts.
Yeah,
so you
they're-
can't slip,
They're
you
the-
can't
they're-
slip
they're-
one past Big T.
And this is the problem with them being good. They're the whiniest, bitchiest fan base in the country.
As I told you
So
before
would
the
you.
season.
They're the whiniest, bitchiest. No, you say, well, I'm going to be a whiny bitch.
I said you better pray we're never good again.
You guys are the worst people that are college football fans.
No,
your
I
whole,
saw-
not true.
Your whole army of orange is terrible.
not true.
Anyway, can I just go back to where I was saying? I was
Yes.
trying to give you a compliment, and
Okay.
you ruined it.
I apologize. Continue.
Fuck, you're only used to being on a 3.5-hour podcast, so you want to make this one as long as possible. Is that right?
Sure. I wish we could shorten those just a little bit, but
Okay.
Maybe just by like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
If vibes are a real thing, we're 2 days before the game, and one of my guys is decked out in his orange. He's got his black because he can't wear it on game day, so he's wearing it on Thursday. He's got his hat on, good-looking hat with the
Nice
volunteer right there. And I look at you, Travy. I don't see a trace of Alabama on you. This isn't Alabama. The watch isn't Alabama. The hat's not Alabama. I couldn't tell you're an Alabama fan. Are you scared?
No, I'm not at all. I was not informed that I would be on today, but if I was,
I wasn't either.
Neither was he.
I know, but he wears that all the time. We talked about this in the
I-
hall. This is the first time on record. Well, with Casey and we were talking. She said this is the first time she can recall not seeing me in Bama gear.
It is
So,
1,000% true. And I
was
walked by and
what
I was kind of alarmed. He was like, I'm on the podcast. And I said,
For
yeah,
this
but you're not
section, for
dressed
going
like
here.
you're
This
going to be
is
on the podcast.
biggest Alabama game of the season so far, and you're not wearing your Mark Ingram jersey or anything like that.
I mean, I don't wear Alabama every day, but I mean, I'm still confident.
Tough
though. I
look,
just-
Big T.
His shoes could be, I know they're Bulls colors because they're
No,
Jordans.
those are
but,
Jordans.
Well, but they
the confidence
could
level
be.
doesn't change in what I'm wearing or not. I could wear all black on Saturday. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm going to be ready regardless. So, but I choose to wear Alabama. I will.
Rapid fire questions. Big T, give me a % on your confidence that Tennessee beats Alabama this weekend.
49.
That's
lower
that's
than
pretty
I
good.
If
thought it
That's
was.
Bryce
embarrassing.
Young doesn't play, it's
That's embarrassing.
85.
That's
But I
a
think
lot
he-
lower than
that's
I expected.
embarrassing.
But
your
I
answer
think
to
he's
be.
going to play.
Okay, here can I
mean,
have a
there-
follow up?
Hold on, wait,
no,
wait.
I have a follow up to the percentage though.
We're going to follow up to him, but I just got real quick.
Okay.
Percentage that you're confident Alabama wins this weekend.
Bryce plays 95%.
That's his answer for everything, though. He said 95% they were going to win the national title.
And that's still holding true as of right now.
No, you can follow up.
My follow-up was going to be like, this is Thursday. So Saturday, let's say around
It'll be higher.
2:30, what will your percentage be?
60s.
That's still not high enough.
I mean, listen, they're favored. They're a very good team. We're also a very
I did
good
not
team.
expect you to be this today.
No, I did not either.
Biggest game in your life.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's not even debatable.
Yeah.
And you-
Biggest,
and-
and you're just limping into it. Like,
I'm not-
I hope
listen,
we don't get.
You are.
I hope we don't get embarrassed.
60% is limping
Tennessee
into it.
is a really good team. Alabama is also a very
Yes,
good team.
But right
This is-
before kickoff,
This I think we're gauging towards it's more of like this is almost like Mets level on. It's like, oh, we're happy to be here, but if we get killed, like it's. I mean,
He just called you a Mets fan.
No,
No.
see,
He called
this,
you Frank.
and no, that's what the national media is doing. People like Pat Forty and Dan Wolken saying Tennessee should be
they're not
favored
really
in
the
the
national
game,
media.
so that if and when we lose, then they can say, "See, Tennessee's not actually that good."
What is their justification for Tennessee being favored in this game? Because that's crazy.
I don't know. That's what Pat Forty said.
Well-
I'm telling you why they're saying that.
consider the source.
Correct, but I'm telling you that's why they're doing that, so that when we lose, they can say, "See, Tennessee choked. They're not good."
I'm disappointed in you, Big T, and I don't say that a lot. I really thought I would say on a Thursday, fine if you have low expectations. I wouldn't have said 49%.
I don't
You
have
gotta be
low
90,
expectations.
90 plus on Saturday before you go into that game.
We are an underdog. I don't expect to win the game.
Question.
But they certainly were
When you
really
were-
good. They're also very good.
When you were watching on CBS, da, 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 okay, Brad Nessler brings us in, and then they show Tennessee running through the power tee, and everybody going crazy. It's got to be 100.
I'll be going crazy, but I get nervous at that point. Like for games like this.
Well,
like
yeah,
I'm-
but
But
doesn't-
yeah, no, I will be much more confident then
I
than
don't
I
think
am
he's
right
a
now.
real one.
No, he's definitely a real fan.
No, yeah, that,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
that's
there's no
ridiculous.
doubt about
He's
that.
a real, I didn't say a real fan.
No, like my thing is, I already know. I mean, Knoxville. This is going to be the craziest environment in 20 years. That's obvious. And then for this Alabama team for a road game, at least besides the ones we've lost, but you don't expect like coming in. This has got to be the toughest road environment since 2013 Iron Bowl. I'd probably say, maybe 2017 when we with Jalen, but
Sure, yeah,
for sure on the 2013 scale, like I was at the Kick Six.
Yeah.
That crowd, I think Tennessee brings it even more because it's just like
Well, because they're hungry. They haven't had it in a while.
I understand, but like on that level, it might be even more. So I already know it's going to be.
Stop talking for a second.
Oh no, just me and you. Pretend like no one else is in the room. Just me and you we have to talk. I think that when we thought we were going to bring them on
Yeah.
to talk about this game,
They're gonna go at it.
which is the biggest game of the week,
Yeah.
even though there's a top 10 matchup in the Big Ten as well,
sure, yeah.
that they were going to like hate each other and
Right.
scream at each other. I don't think that that's going to happen.
All right.
You have to remember we're also in the middle of a Braves playoff run as
Fine,
well. in
whatever.
which we're allies.
Tennessee believes they're in a rivalry with you guys. Are they?
As of right now, no, it's not. It's one-sided. It's the same thing that we talk about with Penn State and then Rutgers.
Is Tennessee gum off of Alabama's shoe?
Yes, for the
Wait.
right now.
Did you hear what he just said? Now this is good. We're getting somewhere. He just compared you to Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Well, I mean, you can take a look at the histories of those two programs and see that that's a ridiculous
Well,
thing
what
to
about
say.
the
Also-
histories?
He
Also,
just said that
a
you
rivalry.
are Rutgers.
First of all, a rivalry. Is Tennessee Florida a rivalry? Because Florida's kicked our ass for the last 10 years.
You're not making good points.
I'm saying the results of the game. If Ohio State beats Michigan every single year, Ohio State Michigan is one of the best rivalries in sports.
Correct, yes.
Tennessee Alabama has been a rivalry for close to 100
I
years.
do-
It will always be.
I do think Tennessee Florida is not the rivalry it was 20 years ago.
The games aren't the same
Yeah.
because they're not number 2 versus number 3 every year, but it's still a heated rivalry.
So here's
Did
the
you-
thing
wait.
with rivalries, though.
Did you put Bama and Tennessee in your top 10 rivalries of that list that you came out with?
I did not.
Okay, I was just.
Well, he also doesn't think Ohio State Michigan's that heated.
I think it's behind Alabama Auburn.
which is correct.
Didn't you put Army Navy ahead of?
I
Ohio
love that.
State,
I respect the
Michigan?
troops. What's the problem?
Well, okay.
What's the problem?
I will say this
You just
about
respect the troops?
I'd argue
I-
that should be number 1.
the troops. Rivalry games, if you're in it and it's one-sided, that sucks. But I will say that from a fan standpoint, looking from the outside in, I don't care how many times one team is won or the other. If the fans hate each other, it's a rivalry game to me.
Bryce Young plays on Saturday. We're not going to pretend that he's not going to play because he's going to play. Nick Saban will shoot him up with a homeless guy's shoulder if he has to. I mean, the guy's playing. The guy's playing.
I think
I'm not
he's
pretending
playing.
like the guy's not playing. I'm not. I don't care.
I've heard that
Even
also,
even in the indoor.
I don't care if he hasn't thrown a ball this week. He's gonna. All he has to do is throw one Saturday. Bryce Young's playing.
Jack isn't, just for people who aren't watching. I guess they can't see Jack's in the corner correcting Brandon, and I feel like Brandon's the maddest person in the room.
Yeah, and what? Okay, all right. They've beaten your ass for how many consecutive years? You've got
15,
a chance
16.
in front of 108,000 screaming people on Saturday to have the biggest win in 2 decades. Have the biggest win of your life.
That's correct.
What's it going to take to make that happen?
I think Byron Young needs to play really well. I think Hendon Hooker needs to keep doing what he's been doing. And if Jalen McCullough plays, that's going to be big for us because our reserve secondary players are not very good. If we can get a little bit from the secondary more than what they've given and keep our pass rush what it was against LSU, I think we'll win.
I think Brandon's going to have an aneurysm.
I mean, Alabama ain't LSU.
Cedric playing?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Bryce Young's playing. I'm telling you right now. We're just going to do this podcast as if he is, okay?
Okay.
What's stopping you guys from stomping a fucking mud hole in Neyland Stadium and walking it dry?
I do think that their front seven is good.
What did you whisper?
I said our Heisman front runner.
Their front,
They have a Heisman winner.
Not this year.
Their front seven is good. I do think, though, that if
Their front seven's not that good.
I mean, it's better than the secondary, but I still think that Bryce, when he plays, is going to throw all over it. It's just, can we run the ball and not have 3rd and long like we had against Texas? But if we're able to run the football, I think the game's over.
You guys have a trash secondary. That's just what he said.
We also have a top 10 rush defense in the country.
That's what my thing was. Is they do.
Do you have a top 10 rush defense because they're good or because they're busy throwing on you?
Both.
Not.
But I think more so that they're good.
Ask him if Quinn Ewers would have stayed in the game if they would have lost to Texas.
You guys are currently undefeated. If Quinn Ewers had never gotten hurt, would you be undefeated?
Bama wants me to say yes, but it's definitely a different game.
Who wants him to
Bam, like they called.
Wait, Nick
Nick
Saban?
Saban called. Nick Saban called him.
Like the Bama in me wants to say yes, but it would be a different game.
Okay.
We will never know.
Ask him if he thinks Hendon Hooker is better than Quinn Ewers.
No. I'm not going to ask him that.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you. Is Hendon Hooker better than Bryce Young?
Oh, good call.
Currently,
Right now.
Yes.
In this game.
yes.
Hendon Hooker's a better football player than Bryce Young.
Yes.
Thoughts?
100% healthy Bryce is better than Hendon Hooker every day.
100% healthy Hendon Hooker, 100%
Every
healthy
day.
Bryce Young.
Every day.
Who's better?
I will take Hendon 11 times out of 10.
If you were drafting these two rosters and they're all completely healthy, you're drafting Hendon Hooker as the quarterback.
First overall.
Well, that's crazy. Thoughts?
It's Bryce. The correct answer is Bryce.
Well,
he showed it last
year. Very
year.
confident.
He showed it. It's his quarterback. He's not going to go against his quarterback.
I would go
Personal
against my
friend,
quarterback
don't forget
versus
that.
What about the people that say Hendon
think most people
Hooker
would.
is a very talented player, but he's 47th in the country in yards, he's 44th in touchdowns. His stats really don't match his hype so far. That's what people say. I'm just bringing that out of thin air. What do you think about that?
If we're going to go straight and line him up, it's Bryce every day. It's much better. If we're going to go down the line, this isn't a question. Bryce proved it last year. I understand if we're talking about not healthy Bryce, then that's different. They're talking about an injured guy to a guy that's playing on the field every day. If it's 100% and you line him up straight on and go, you had a better chance to win the game with Bryce Young.
Thoughts?
We're going to line them up. I'd like to retract everything I've said previously. I think we're going to win by 10 points.
That's the energy.
Okay.
We're going to line them up, and we're going to find out.
We got it.
All right, you're fucking
It just-
playing Alabama, your biggest game in 2 decades.
Yep.
Okay,
We got it.
You're
Yep.
running through
I'm
the
back.
power team.
I'm back.
You're running through the
I'm
power
back.
team. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me.
I'm back.
Rocky Top.
Woo!
Rocky Top, Tennessee.
I'm back.
That's the energy we need.
These motherfuckers been good 15 years. Somebody needs to take it from them, Big T.
Let's go fucking take it.
But they haven't been good in fucking a decade and a half. You're not going to let them take it.
No.
we're
Question
playing this
for
game
you.
a decade
Do
and
you
a
want a
half ago, that'd be
cigar
a
for
real
Saturday?
problem.
Do I want a cigar for Saturday?
Yeah.
A victory cigar?
Yeah.
For Alabama?
Yes.
I'd rather fucking puke.
Okay. Well, the offer was on the table, so
I will.
Are you gonna be in the gambling cave?
Yes.
Are you gonna be in the gambling
I
cave?
will be.
This is
Yes, I would like a victory cigar.
This is what I was going to say. You have to remember that it's also for the entertainment side of things. If you're not sitting on the stream with a victory
Right.
cigar, if Alabama wins,
Yeah.
See, this
You
is what
don't-
I'm telling you. He pretends he hates Alabama,
I-
but he grew up at a time when Tennessee was Alabama. He hates Tennessee way more than he hates Alabama.
Me?
He's talking about you.
Yeah.
Yes, he's
Me?
talking about you.
Yeah.
Well, he did
This
say
is
you're the
why.
worst.
This is why. This is
I'm
why
about to prove my point.
I hate Tennessee fans. Because they believe, even though they haven't been good in decades, the college football sun rises and sets in Knoxville, Tennessee. They believe everybody wakes up thinking about them. They believe everybody, even though 98 was 24 years ago, they think it happened 24 minutes ago, and I'm supposed to act like that. So when I say Tennessee might lose to LSU, I was wrong, and I was impressed with Tennessee. Doesn't mean I hate Tennessee, the football program. You pieces of shit have been cheating and been dirty for my whole life, and you act like you cheating. What is that? I don't even know what that is. I hate them way more than I hate y'all. I hate your fans. I don't hate your team.
You seem a little fired up.
How
many
I do a podcast.
How many programs do you get that fired up about?
Oh, Arkansas,
Auburn, Michigan,
Oklahoma, Ole Miss, dozens, I would say.
Clemson.
Dozens.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell him I've been fired up about every. I get fired up
He
easily.
gets fired up easily. I will say, you mentioned this just a mere minutes ago. You said that you think Tennessee is the worst fan base.
The most obnoxious fan base.
More than Alabama?
Arkansas?
Different levels.
that's where-
They're the stupidest fan base. You guys are cleverly obnoxious. When you've got at least some people in your fan base that can do some good memes, that can do some good things. You're too many. There's too many of you. I would say that.
Obnoxious with a fun twist.
It can be fun at times.
I'll take that.
It can be fun at times, but then when you guys actually are good, it's too much.
Which is, I've said it 3 or 4 times today. That's why you need to pray, and you have been
But you
praying that we're
again,
never good
you
again.
think
not been
that
praying.
you think you're ascribing this hate to me like I hate Tennessee.
Well, you, the national media, Dan Wolken,
the
all
national
of them.
media doesn't fucking hate you,
Oh, yes,
hillbillies.
they do.
don't
Oh,
fucking hate
yes, they
you.
do. Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
They absolutely do.
Everybody in America thinks the national media hates their fan base.
No. Go
Everybody-
read the articles after the Ole Miss game last year and see some of the adjectives they
You
use.
threw fucking
They hate us.
batteries. You threw shit
And
at
it
Lane
was
Kiffin.
completely
Golf balls.
warranted.
You threw stuff at Lane Kiffin.
Completely warranted.
You can't-
Also, we're not entirely sure that didn't start from the upper deck in that corner of the stadium, which was the visitors section.
FBI informants could have been there.
So your stance is Ole Miss fans threw stuff at Lane Kiffin.
They
We don't
started
know.
it. They started
We don't
it.
know. They could have been raining things down to the lower level, at which
Now
point
don't you
things
smile.
escalated.
Your fan base fucking sucks too.
But at least we have the stuff and history to back it up.
Not really.
I mean, dude, what do we mean not really?
Because
Come on.
because you guys, you know what you guys' problem is? You guys still are delusional, even though you have currently the best dynasty in college football. You have the best coach in college football. You've had this remarkable run of success. But the fact that Alabama, which has how many national championships?
18.
How many?
18.
18. No, you have about 13, which is still remarkable and incredible, but you still lie to people. You still do bullshit like go back in the 20s and 30s and 40s and claim stuff that wasn't yours, that you never won. You're pieces of shit. You're lying pieces of shit. You've always been lying pieces of shit.
I don't know. So
No, what do you mean I don't know?
I don't agree with you. You said that we are lying pieces of shit. We claim the national titles because we.
1941, you went 8-2, finished third in the SEC. You claimed a national title because there was wartime and you guys just wanted to be bitches.
I mean, that's what they decided to do. We whatever my school says we have, I go by that. I was like,
So he just, like if he lived in Russia,
I was fixing to say
Right.
that kind of thinking has led
He would
to
be-
a lot of trouble.
he would be
over the course
easily,
of
that's an
history.
easily conquered man
no.
right there. That is an easily conquered man.
Yeah.
If
Think for yourself, man.
If Nick Saban asked you to jump off a cliff, would you?
Would he jump off a cliff? He would immediately dive off a
It's
cliff.
swan dive.
All right. Saturday,
Whatever
Yeah.
the government says goes.
number 6
boy.
Tennessee at home, 108,000 screaming people. Alabama comes in.
yeah,
Final score,
42-21 tied.
a 3-touchdown victory.
Yes.
Just snot rocket right on their chest.
Yep. I think.
Just fuck them.
I
do we
think
have
this
to-
is a very.
I saw that last
is a
night in
tell
wrestling
to. I think
thought you
this
were
could
gonna
be
say
an
porn.
easy situation where we get the ball first, we score 3 and out, touchdown. You look
14-0 in 5 minutes.
You look up 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. It's 14-0. That's a possibility. I think.
Big Tennessee.
I think in my candy land that the precise inverse could happen. We could sit here saying this could happen all day long. If my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike. Okay?
That is true.
I stick with my score.
Tennessee's going to win 38-30.
I don't hate that.
This motherfucker just a second ago said Tennessee wins by 10. I asked him for a score prediction. He gives 38-30.
And
his head's not right.
Originally, it was 49%.
His head's not in this. He's all over the place. You're all over the place.
He thinks they're going to win now.
You got him fired up.
Yeah, you got him to switch from 49% to a win. I'll take that.
If Tennessee wins this game.
You need to pray to whatever God you believe in.
Can you stop saying that?
I'm just telling you.
I don't know
how
Southern
I'll
boy.
act. I don't know what I'll do.
I'm not worried about how you'll act.
Okay.
Let me ask the question. I don't like the way you're acting now. You haven't won shit.
I know. That's why I'm telling you.
Here's the question. If Tennessee wins this game, what's our percentage chance to see the Volunteers in the playoff? Feels like 98 at that point.
According to some predictive models, it's 48. I would say it's a little bit higher than that.
What kind of models are predicting this? Like Kate Upton?
It's 23 right now. If we beat Bama, it goes to 48.
Hold on. Time. You're telling me right now, as we sit in front of God and everybody, Tennessee has a 23% chance to make the playoffs?
I'll get you the numbers.
Shit.
I'll get you the numbers.
According to who?
Bullshit.
I'll get you the numbers.
You still got Alabama and Georgia ahead of you.
I know.
Those are good numbers.
You stop.
I'll get you.
Don't bail him out.
I'll
please.
send the numbers your way.
I don't need the numbers. I'm saying the numbers themselves are bullshit.
But if we win this game, I think we're in incredible shape because we'll either beat Georgia and go like fucking 12-0, or we'll lose to Georgia.
What was that whisper?
Because he didn't want to say it with his full chest, but he wanted to say it.
Or we'll lose to Georgia, which could actually even turn out better. Go 11-1. Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship.
Then you wouldn't get the rematch. You would run from the rematch with Alabama.
I'm just saying, whichever way it turns out, we could end up 11-1. Georgia beats them, but it's better to go 12-0, and then the SEC championship game probably doesn't matter for you getting in.
Is this cute to you to watch an also ran program like this get excited?
I mean, not really. Like, I mean,
ran program
like
in your show.
If they get excited, that so be it. Then you got to face the big guy. We're the big guy, so they're gonna play us. But
well, no, actually, Georgia's a big guy.
Bro, we can't do this. Like, I mean, we're
no. Georgia's the defending national champion.
Okay,
I mean, we're gonna be honest. All right, you're not the big guy on the block.
That's 1 year. I mean, let's just go back even further. And now, if Georgia does it again, yeah, maybe.
Katie, can I get a stat check real quick? Who's the defending national champion?
I just acknowledged that they're the defending national champions. I said it's 1 year. Like,
I mean, this is really just a tune-up for if Tennessee wins. This is a tune-up for facing Georgia.
If you want to call Georgia the big guy, then they got to do it over multiple years.
Wow.
Brandon, he's right.
That's 100% factual.
He's right.
No, he's not.
Well, you already called Alabama the best dynasty in college football.
I did not. That wasn't me.
You did.
That wasn't me.
You did. You might
Georgia
have said
does
it
it again this year.
But
they win the SEC and do all that. Then you can call them the big guy. That's back-to-back years of them doing something. Let me see.
Well, they might.
Let me see multiple years over and over and over to be called the big guy.
I would say that because Big T's been talking about God a lot and religion a lot.
You better pray that he doesn't.
Well, so here's the thing: is that like if we're going to use the analogy of like David and Goliath, let's say, I would say Alabama is still Goliath.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely David.
I don't know if you remember that story. Goliath loses.
Well, correct, but I'm saying that Alabama would
correct.
be Goliath,
I'm just,
not Georgia.
I will take them being Goliath.
So history and statisticians say David got incredibly lucky that day, and it's hard to repeat.
Guess we'll find out.
But he did win.
So what about you? You anti-Bible? You're gonna
No.
Goliath gonna win?
No, I'm not anti-Bible. I don't like that analogy, but I think we're gonna win.
You guys still gonna be friends?
Yeah, no, we're in the see. Like the thing is like you
I don't really care about the answer to this question.
Like you come in there and me and Big T are civil. Like we have the Braves. We know what's at stake on Saturday. We're probably it's going to be really weird, but.
The word I was looking for when I was describing him earlier was civil. So thank you. My brain is mush. Here's the thing, Brandon. I think that what we're gonna have to do, you specifically, since you're a wrestling guy, you're gonna have to fire them up because the issue is that they're on the same side for baseball. We'll be also watching the
baseball. Doesn't fucking matter.
But to them,
it's just a little shitty sport.
I know, but see, on Saturday when Alabama Tennessee is
if
playing,
I'm sitting there watching college football and these motherfuckers are trying to watch baseball, I'm leaving.
There will be both.
You might as well not show up then.
Well, then I ain't coming. I ain't watching baseball on the college football Saturday. I got ranked matchups everywhere. I'm fucking watching somebody work a 3-0 count in the 7th inning of a 4-1 game. Bullshit.
They're on the same side.
This guy tried to tell me in 2019 he was a Braves fan.
Brandon,
he does claim Austin Riley.
He also bet on the Cardinals.
Oh, what did that mean?
I mean,
what do you mean? I claim Austin Riley. He is Mississippi State.
Well,
I cannot claim him.
I was saying with point with him. He's like, he just said that you said that you were a Braves fan in 19. I said, yes.
I grew up a Braves fan, and when I got to Barstool and saw you guys acting like idiots in the first inning of a playoff game, that I was like, well, I'm not that big of a fan. I don't care.
But before that, you'd bet on the Cardinals also.
Oh yeah, I had no problem with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Buddy, I might bet on Kentucky this week. I will bet against my team in a fucking heartbeat. At all times.
This is a struggle that I have because I would never bet against A&M,
sure
even if I
would.
know they're going to get their shit kicked in.
Let me tell you what team I love the most.
Michigan. Oh, your wallet.
That's the team I care about the
Your
Team
Ridge
Walker.
wallet.
Team Walker. Oh yeah, it's just no. I forgot about that.
You mean
No. Don't. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got this one.
Oh,
Yes.
look at that. Is that the Ridge wallet?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
What kind? Is that burnt titanium?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
That's delicious. This was just in your ass. That's gross.
Well,
No, I keep it in my front pocket.
Oh, good.
I don't eat
So-
back
Good. All right.
Katie's giggling in the corner.
Final question for both of you.
Why are you gluck-glucking that, bro?
God, I hope the mics pick that up. You are glucking
Am I
that.
looking this? That's what it is?
Yeah.
Yes, Brandon.
Double twist.
The double twist.
Oh God, that didn't even sound pleasant.
Well,
Huh.
it's
Somebody
not
made
dry.
$60 million off of that.
It's not dry.
God damn, people are
It's
stupid.
not like, like burning.
Oh, Katie just. Oh my God. God, it's a
Katie-
good thing Katie ain't on camera. Big T,
Yeah.
do you hate Alabama?
Yeah.
What do you hate most about Alabama?
The arrogance. I hate that they're good. I hate that Nick Saban before a lot of Alabama fans don't know that before Nick Saban they were trash.
Yeah.
They were really bad for a
Really,
prolonged period
yeah,
of time.
yeah.
Not dissimilar from the last decade Tennessee has had. I don't like them. I hate the maroon hue. I hate everything about them.
Their helmets are stupid.
Yep.
She
They're
thinks
nice
they're good helmets.
helmets. I like
They're a
their
fucking red
helmets.
helmet.
Dumb.
They're nice helmets.
I hate Henry Toa, that son of a bitch. I can't wait to run a slant across his ass this week.
Do you hate Tennessee?
Yes. Mostly stems from Twitter and then friends that I have back home. And then I guess not really through football. I mean, other than I'd say more basketball than anything. If they're
Get the fuck out.
I'm being honest. I was like, they haven't given me a reason to hate them in football.
I was about to say,
Like,
what he just
what
said is the
reason-
reason that you hate Alabama fans because they're so good they can't even hate a quote rival because they've just kicked the shit out of
Well,
them.
then say no. Say you don't hate them. Don't
I
say,
said
I
I
hate
hate-
them in basketball.
No, I said I hate their fans on Twitter, but they haven't given me a reason to hate them in
It's
football.
a very good chance you've never been inside Coleman Coliseum.
No, I've been to 20s, 30s of games inside Coleman.
Name the two basketball coaches before Nate Oates.
It would be Avery Johnson and Anthony Grant.
Okay.
And then before that, it was Mark Godfrey.
Name the two Tennessee coaches before Rick Barnes.
Donnie Tyndall and Quanzo Martin.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Y'all did too. Okay. Well, we have Tennessee, Alabama this weekend. And before they go, Casey Smith, final score prediction for Tennessee, Alabama.
I'm going to say, Brandon Walker, it will be 35-28 Alabama.
Very good. 35-28. Close game. Respectable game.
That Tennessee covers, it's respectable, and it's exciting because that's what I want. I want to see the people hate each other
Oh, that's great.
to the end.
Going to be a lot of sad faces in Knoxville on Saturday when Tennessee gets exposed for being the latest flash-in-the-pan, overrated team early in the season. It happens a lot. Iowa was number 2 at this point last year.
That's crazy.
The first half of the season, it's fun to have a great story. It's nice. But how many times has Alabama gotten to this point where somebody goes 5-0, 6-0, and now they got to prove it against Alabama, and they fall flat? Alabama, 45, Tennessee, 17.
Love that.
Love that, Brandon.
Do
Been
you?
wrong every single time.
I would just like to point out.
I had Tennessee to cover against Florida.
You were wrong.
Well, that's your fault because you sucked.
I sucked.
Your team sucked that day.
Okay, so you were wrong about covering against Florida. You were wrong about being humbled against LSU.
I didn't predict that.
I will
I didn't predict that. That clip that's going viral is stupid. I said Tennessee looks really good. I want them to be undefeated next week. I'm scared they go down to LSU and get humbled. I never said they're going to go down to LSU.
I believe verbatim you said, I think they're going to go
I said
to
the
LSU
words verbatim, I fear they're going to go to LSU.
Can we find it?
You take your big ass and look at it right now. Here's what I exactly said.
It.
I fear they're going to go down to LSU and get humbled. And what I want you to do is pull up that video, and I want you to hand it to me so I can put it in the mic. I said the words, I fear they're going to go to LSU and get humbled. You dumb idiot Knoxville, Tennessee rednecks have taken this clip and say, oh my God, look how dumb he is. And all I was saying was the truth. This is why your fan base is stupid.
Also, I'd like to point out that all 4 of our fan bases get called rednecks.
Also, I don't think it's going to be 45-17. I'm more like, because I think you'll both score. I'm going to go 42-24.
Yeah.
Okay, I did 42-21.
42-24.
It makes me feel extremely confident that Brandon's on Bama. Like, I feel he's always like, away, stay away. I mean, I'm being honest.
But you see what he's saying? You see what he's saying?
never.
No. This motherfucker's saying, "Oh, I never bet on Alabama." Is that what you're saying? I never pick Alabama.
Didn't you pick Alabama last week?
These whiny bitches, man. He comes in here saying, "Oh, he hates Tennessee. Oh, he hates Alabama." Shut the fuck up, both of you.
But you do hate both.
You
of them.
hate both.
I hate everybody.
Well, that's not true.
I can't find the clip.
Of course you can't find the clip now. All of a
I
sudden,
can't find the clip.
of course you can't find the clip.
If you could find it, I'd be very grateful.
Oh my God, this motherfucker right now. All right. We found the clip. We had a little brief period where we had to look for the clip. I remember you believe I said what?
I think the overall tone of the take is that Tennessee is going to get, quote, humbled by LSU.
Noah's smiling. You know that's good when Noah's in the corner
and
smiling.
I said, I fear they're going to get humbled. I want them to win.
You said I want them to win?
Give me the.
I'm going to play it.
Play it.
This is the clip
I
we're
want you to
talking
play it.
about, right?
I want you to play it.
Okay, I'm going to play it.
I want you to play it. I want the world to see you play it.
Play
I want
it.
everybody in the world to see you play it. Play it right now.
Play it.
Saying Hendon Hooker's a Heisman candidate. See a lot of people saying Tennessee is a national title contender. I see a lot of people saying that Tennessee could make the playoff. I see a lot of people saying Tennessee's a top 10 team. I fear that you guys are overreacting to beating a very, very mid Florida team. And it's not that they beat a mid-Florida team. That's fine. They handle business. And Hendon Hooker is a Heisman candidate. He is very good. He's the best player on that team. The same problems that plagued Tennessee last year are there this year. That defense is not good. That defense, they had a lead. They should have covered that game easily the way their offense played, but they made Anthony Richardson look like he was fantastic. He's not. And Tennessee let Florida hang around. Tennessee should be very excited right now. They're undefeated. They're a good football team. They're not a great football team yet. I fear that they're going to have this off week and then go into LSU and get humbled very quickly before their Alabama game. I don't want that to happen. I would like for them to be undefeated before they play Alabama, but this is a team that people are crowning, and there's still a massive, massive problem on that roster. Defensively, they're not good. And I hope they find it very soon, because Tennessee being good and interesting is good for college football and the SEC.
No. I see how
you guys got mad about that.
No, you're playing both sides. You're saying I think they're going to lose. They suck on defense, but like if they're good, I guess that's fine. I see how you're going to take a victory lap on that, and that's fine.
I just told you exactly what I said. You said no, you didn't say that, and your tone was this.
Do you think the tone
that
of
was
that
that was so nice towards Tennessee?
When you're done yelling, so that's what I was going to ask. You think the tone of that was positive toward Tennessee?
How was it not?
Because you're saying, well, if they win, I guess that's good for college football. I hope they're undefeated for Alabama because it'd be a good storyline. You said, I think they're going to go down there and get humbled.
May I interject
here? And they won 40-13.
You're doing this. You're saying my tone was this. I said it verbatim, and I said it with a strong tone. I said it with my chest.
Okay.
He also said he wants them to be good. He doesn't say that about people very often. That's not Mississippi State. I'm not trying to pile on.
You look
that was
stupid
a bit of
right
a
now.
Throw in after I believe they're going to get humbled.
He wants
there
them to be
wasn't a throw in.
undefeated.
That whole thing was a direct speech.
Okay.
You should apologize to me right now.
I don't think so.
Should he apologize?
You did say a lot of nice things about him.
I don't think so. The beginning, you were like, people are saying this, people are saying that, with a tone of like, I don't necessarily believe that's true.
I hope you guys fucking step on their necks and snap their.
So do you want Tennessee to
be?
be good or not? Because you're saying you're speaking on both sides of your mouth
I want
here,
you to
pal.
snap their fucking. I wanted
Pal,
this.
he dropped a
I
pal.
wanted this to be a big game. I wanted undefeated Tennessee.
dropped
and
a
I
pal.
wanted to see it. I want this to be a big game, and now I hope you get humbled. I hope you get.
Yeah,
I
there
hope
it is.
you get your
That's
dicks-
what you wanted
I
the
hope
whole
you get your
time.
dicks knocked
That's
in
what
the
you
dirt.
wanted the
And
whole
next
time,
week, I hope
Chief.
you guys are flying high. I fucking hope you guys are flying high and feeling good because we're coming to kick your fucking ass. And we don't play you this year, but we kick your ass too. Now, thanks, boys.
Roll
He
Tide.
dropped a pal on you.
That's fine.
Thank you, boys.
Now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp.
And Brandon,
Yes.
mental health and therapy is always a conversation around these
Always a
parts.
good conversation to have if you're anywhere.
Anywhere. At Barstool recently, though, it has been a topic of conversation surrounding certain employees. And the good news for those employees is that BetterHelp is now also partnered with Barstool, that it is an accessible thing for all employees because it is so good at its job.
Well, that's good for us because BetterHelp is one of the great places for online therapy in this country. Therapy is the best way to stay in peak mental shape. It is a way to take care of yourself. Everyone needs to take care of their mental well-being, whether you're an athlete or not. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp, a great option.
Well, the cool thing about BetterHelp is a lot of times when people start to think about therapy, they get a little bit nervous and they say, oh, I have to go into somebody's office, a stranger, and sit down on their couch face to face and tell them all my problems. That scares people away. BetterHelp, you can text, you can chat, they have phone calls, they have video calls, so you can start easy and you can open up to somebody. And most importantly, as somebody who does battle with mental health, I do it for my mental health well-being, but you don't have to have any mental health issues. You can just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody's got problems.
Yeah, and it makes it just talking to somebody always helps. It's convenient, accessible, affordable, entirely online.
And there's a great option on BetterHelp if, let's say, you have the fear of that you won't like your therapist. That's completely fair, and BetterHelp knows that, and they make it incredibly easy if you want to switch therapists anytime. And you don't have to have that awkward conversation like, hey, yeah, I don't trust you with anything. So
It's not a blind date because you do fill out a survey, and so they kind of match you with who you're looking for. I've used BetterHelp in the past. I think it's great. So not only should you go try it anyways, we're giving you money off to try it, and that's what's really important. So when you're ready to feel the top of your mental health game, therapy can get you there. We love therapy here at Barstool. Visit BetterHelp.com/Smith, and you'll get 10% off your first month. Like Brandon mentioned, it's already more affordable than in-person therapy. We're giving you even more. 10% off. That's BetterHelp.com/Smith. You know what, Brandon? It's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to not be okay. All right, now we bring the crew back in because we had to do a little thing with the Alabama and Tennessee guys. Hey, Katie. Hey, Jack.
Hey.
hey, it's great to be here.
Why are you wearing a UCLA shirt?
Because I like it. Also, I bet UCLA last weekend. I think I've been a believer in them.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not claiming them. I like the look of this too.
That's a good looking sweater.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, good looking sweater. So
I like it. It's nice colors.
Oh, yeah.
Looks nice on you,
It's
Jack.
nice, beautiful day. Now, before we get going, at the risk of spending too much time on this game, but it is the biggest game, we're going to talk about Penn State, Michigan at length as well. What do you guys think about Tennessee and Alabama? I really do think the only reason I think Alabama's going to go in and win pretty good is because it feels like every year there's a team in the SEC that trumps themselves up and starts strong, only to have the measuring stick come in, and the measuring stick usually gets the better of them. And when's the last time you saw Alabama play bad twice in a row? It's been a while. So that's why I pick Alabama, but it would be very interesting to see Tennessee.
I think I agree with you that usually there's the storyline of the team that's undefeated, and then they run up against Alabama and they get proven that they're not as good as they thought they were. However, and I'm not just saying this to dunk on you, but when you look at the last seasons or so, like I guess the last 2 seasons, Alabama's only really kicked the shit out of Mississippi State. These games have been really close. I mean, when you're talking about the in-SEC games, I don't think they're going to lose this game. I could be wrong. I could eat crow on that. However, to say that they're going to go in and win by 3 touchdowns or whatever the prediction may be, especially if Bryce Young plays, which I understand, that to me seems like the measuring stick is not being the measuring stick we've seen Alabama the last couple seasons.
All right, what do you guys think?
All right, so I think there's a possibility Bryce Young doesn't play. I think
Based off of what? Just curious.
based off of a prediction that we saw last
you got
week.
information?
I think he does. That's why I'm asking.
I'm not saying I have information. I'm just saying that he hasn't practiced yet.
I understand what you're not saying. I am directly asking you if you have information.
I tried.
No, I don't
tried to-
directly have confirmed information.
Okay,
No.
fair enough.
Secondhand information?
I have
Third
not. I've not been in the Alabama facility.
How many hands?
How far removed from the first hand are we?
A few hands removed, so I'm not gonna
Okay,
it's not
okay.
even a report.
All right,
But
so
I do
That's
think.
at least 5 hands.
I think it's 2.
Okay.
How many hands removed am I from Bryce Young? I mean,
Like the Kevin
He
Bacon
just,
thing.
well, he just glucked again.
I do think there's a serious possibility. I would put it at 50-50 that Bryce doesn't play this weekend. I think it's not just from. That's not a stat that was given to me. That's just more on feel and then some things I've been told, and that he hasn't really practiced. Now that could be with the idea that he's playing on Saturday. However, I think Bryce at a certain point will be like, hey, is it worth it to play? And I think Nick Saban will understand that too. And I also think Alabama's a good enough team to beat Tennessee without Bryce Young. It would be a much closer game because I think Bryce Young will be able to dice up a Tennessee secondary like you've never seen before. That being said, I like Tennessee, but then it's like, wait a second. I saw a stat from another sports book that we're not going to say, but the 90% of the bets are on Tennessee. Like, I don't love that. I'm not a big you got to fade the public, but everyone is like on this spot, and we'll get to another spot later that everyone's on.
84% of 84% of the money, 94% of the bets currently on Tennessee, and that's terrifying.
And it's like, what's going on here? But that also shows that there's no real serious buyback on Alabama yet from like serious groups of money.
I think it might happen today or tomorrow, though.
I think if you see that happen, it's going to happen because there's a lot of information coming out on Alabama.
If
on
Bryce Young doesn't play, I think Tennessee could win by multiple touchdowns.
Oh, all right. That's getting a little
Look
crazy.
what happened.
I don't know that that's crazy.
Look what
I think
happened
that's a
last
little
week.
crazy. I think that's a little crazy.
How?
I mean, if Milrose
Alabama's a really good team. They'll still be favored without Bryce Young.
If Milrose got 4 turnovers in him again.
Milroe kept A&M in the game. They were favored by 24
They'll
points.
still be favored, though.
Did you see their their 5-star freshman quarterback, Ty Simpson, is liking all the tweets saying he should play over Jalen Milroe? I love when a kid likes tweets.
If Jalen Milroe doesn't turn the ball over, I understand it's a different game, but if that happens against Tennessee and Tennessee's offense is what it is, they could easily lose that game.
Okay, all right. So let's get off that game. I feel like we're too far into have only talked about that game, but it was fun.
Penn State, Michigan.
Is that the one you want to talk about?
Yes. We have to.
We're going to talk about it, of course.
It's a top 10 matchup, Brandon.
Okay,
I know
fine.
you don't like Michigan.
Can we keep a running tally of the people that think I don't like a certain team or that I hate a certain team?
You hate Michigan?
I hate everybody. When are y'all going to realize
I have a question. Just out of curiosity here. Okay, obviously Alabama-Tennessee is the marquee matchup, especially in the SEC. We get that. If that number 5 right there was, say, I don't know, Clemson, Oklahoma, go down the list against number 10 Penn State, you would be like, yes, that's the next game we need to talk about.
Of course it's the next game we need to talk about. I said we were going to talk about it, but I was just going to lay out all the other ranked games for a second. I was just going to say we have 6 ranked matchups this week. We're going to get to all of them.
We have 2 top 10.
We have 2 top 10, 3 top 15. We have 6 top 25. That's the matchups we have. We have Oklahoma State TCU. We have Mississippi State Kentucky. We have blah, 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 blah. We have
TCU Oklahoma State.
I said TCU Oklahoma State. Thank you very much.
I would just...
NC State Syracuse, a gigantic game. USC Utah.
That is a gigantic game.
It is.
When you look at the races for the Power 5 conferences, we have very important games. Obviously, USC Utah being one of those. However, Penn State Michigan, I would say, is gigantic in and of its own right because it's who's going to be contending against Ohio State for the East.
I'll say this. At the end of the season, the USC Utah game is a bigger game than Penn State Michigan. And I'll tell you why. Because Penn State Michigan, 2 undefeated teams, top 10 teams, but ultimately they might be playing for who finishes second, finishes third, whereas USC Utah might be playing for who wins the Pac-12.
Correct, yes. But I would say in the vacuum of what that means for the Big Ten, we know how good Ohio State is.
Yeah.
Now this matchup between Penn State and Michigan is going to say who potentially. Now I keep thinking about what Jack said, and I love that, the round robin beating each other and how crazy that would be for the Big Ten East. However, this is going to be the measuring stick. We kept saying measuring stick in the last segment. Measuring stick for both Penn State and Michigan to go up against Ohio State.
I don't know if measuring stick's the right word. I think this is a proving ground for both of them because we don't know much about either of them. Penn State has the better win between these two teams. They have a win at Purdue. but neither really has had to stretch their legs all that much. Michigan's had a remarkably easy schedule at this point, both non-conference and in-conference so far. But they've also treated that schedule the way you should treat a bad schedule. They've just demolished everybody. They've been cruising, 31-10 over Indiana, 27-14 over Iowa, the close game against Maryland, but then they destroyed their non-conference schedule. They've looked the part of a top 10 team. So has Penn State, and that's where something gives this week.
It's really sad for the state of the Auburn football program. You just said that Penn State's biggest win is Purdue, not Auburn. If you're an Auburn fan, that should burn.
I understand, but that's absolute truth.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're absolutely correct. But when you look at Penn State, beating Auburn 41-12, and that's like, okay, well, usually in a normal year, we'd be like, they beat Auburn 41-12 on the road. This game to me, and I know that Jack, mentioned Jim Harbaugh being in his top 5 coaches, which I don't hate. I would not put him there. But this to me is so much bigger than just the football teams too. Is Jim Harbaugh going to repeat? And is James Franklin, who we give a lot of shit to sometimes, but this is that next step for both of them as well.
Well, the hype machine for the winner of this game is going to go into overdrive. It's going to
be crazy.
Into ultimate overdrive, and probably deserved. If Michigan wins, what do they have really that's going to get in their way before they play Ohio State in late November? If Penn State wins, they've got Ohio State a lot sooner than that, and they will get ready for a couple of gigantic games. But my point about this game is I just don't know about Michigan, and I don't know about Penn State. Therefore, I don't know why there's 7 points difference between these schools. 7 points is the spread. Michigan favored by 7 with an over-under of 50.5. I feel like this is a game where we find out very quickly that these are two evenly matched teams. I feel like we're headed towards a 28-24, maybe a 28-27 game. I think this game is going to be deep into the fourth quarter before it is decided. I think it's going to be an awesome game. I don't understand why Michigan's favored so heavily.
Granted, I think Blake Corum has had a hell of a season, and obviously that offense is catered to him. Who would you take right now with Sean Clifford and J.J. McCarthy?
For the season, I would take J.J. McCarthy. For this game, I would probably take Sean Clifford.
Because it's J.J.'s first big game?
It is J.J.'s first big rodeo as the starter. He has never had a week where he is the starter in a gigantic game like this. He's never come out with 110,000 people with him as the starter and him with everything on his shoulders. Sean Clifford is not as talented as J.J. McCarthy. Sean Clifford doesn't have the weapons J.J. McCarthy has, but Sean Clifford's been through the wars. He's been through things. For this game, I like Clifford a little bit more in this spot. They're really very, very similar. They're both their stats are very similar.
Michigan's weapons that much better than Penn State's? I don't think so.
I think Michigan's receivers are certainly better. I think Ronnie
Washington and Ronnie Bell are very similar.
Yeah, but Michigan goes 3 or 4 deep with pretty good receivers. If I'm ignorant on Penn State, I just don't know if they have the depth at receiver that Michigan does. Michigan also has a terrific tight end. I think offensive line, Michigan has one of the top 3 or 4 offensive lines in the country. But yeah, are they're much better? Probably not.
Probably not, but I feel like Michigan has more weapons across the board. I feel like they're more of a balanced offense than Penn State.
This could also be a star-making performance for Mr. Singleton, the freshman. Mm-hmm. We're looking at stats right now. Blake Corum you had him as your number 1 running back in the country. He's got 735 yards, but that's on 118 carries. Singleton has 463 yards. He's only carried the ball 63 times. Like, he hasn't gotten that many opportunities, but he has been electric. He has been incredible. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's a difference maker. Somebody's got to make the difference in this game. I assume you lean Michigan. I assume you lean Michigan.
No, I've already bet Penn State plus 7.
You lean in the middle like me?
Not in the middle. I lean Penn State plus 7. Yeah.
You think Penn State? Oh yeah, this is a battle of 2 of your teams. You've been very high on both of these teams. You were the first to be high on Penn State.
He loves Sean Clifford too.
He was the first to be high on Penn State, and he's been high on Michigan for a year and a half. That's fair.
Yeah, and Michigan, that's fair to say that we're both. This is a matchup of 2 of my teams for sure.
I do think 7 is a lot of points. If it was 3, I would be 1,000%. I believe Michigan covers the spread. It would not surprise me if this comes down to whoever has the ball last. But I am going to lean Michigan. I do think that Michigan is a more balanced offense. I don't know if it's ever going to change, like Sean Clifford to be 65 years old, and I feel like I will still say this, he has played really, really well when he needs to. He also makes those Sean Clifford plays and the Sean Clifford game where when we had Max on a few weeks ago, he said it perfectly from a Penn State standpoint. It's like, you know what you get with him, and there's always that mistake. This is the type of game that you see Sean Clifford in his career at Penn State make those types of mistakes.
I mean, quarterbacks make mistakes.
Of course, but I'm saying that Sean Clifford does a really good job of keeping Penn State in the conversation. He's also been, and it's not always his fault, but it's easy to point at him and say that's the reason Penn State hasn't taken that next step forward with him at quarterback. This to me seems like one of those games. Now, it could easily be when they play Ohio State in a few weeks. I don't know, but I could see Sean Clifford making a very untimely turnover against Michigan and it changing that storyline for Penn State moving forward.
I have a question. Winning this game for Jim Harbaugh wouldn't mean all that much. He went to the playoff last year, and it would set him up for good things down the road. But he had a good breakthrough last year. He had his breakthrough at Michigan last year. Period. He had his breakthrough at Michigan last year. For James Franklin, however, he's been able to get to this game. He's been able to get to a big game, a big spot, but he's never had his breakthrough at Penn State.
Right.
Never had his real breakthrough. Now, 2016, when they just got left out of the playoff, you could argue that, but this would be a different level of breakthrough than that. What would this game mean to James Franklin? Like, I feel like, and he's never won this game, so what does that mean for Penn State?
Well, yeah, this is a game to silence critics, sort of. Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters that much. I wouldn't change my opinion that much on James Franklin if he loses this game.
But would you change it if he won it?
No, because I'm high on him. I'm much higher than.
But I think a lot of other people would change their opinion.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's a game to have a silenced critic, it's a silenced critic game.
Yeah. I am one of those people that it would help change my opinion because I think that James Franklin is always in the conversation of where do you put him in like the top 10 coaches in the country, and then you always but they can't take that next step. 2016 being different, so not only is it a change in the narrative for Sean Clifford, because if he wins this game and doesn't have a mistake that changes the whole landscape against Michigan, it does it for James Franklin too, because for some reason Penn State every single year they're predicted to be one of the top teams in the Big Ten. They're predicted to be one of the top teams in the country. And then there's always that letdown spot. And it's easy to blame James Franklin. If he beats the number 5 team in the country who went to the playoff last year, it does say, okay, he can get over that hump.
Now, I'll say this. Last year, it's possible they would have gotten over that spot. But as soon as they got to the big game, which was number 3 Penn State against number 2 Iowa, his quarterback got hurt and they lost. And the wheels kind of came off after that. We'll never know what would happen if Sean Clifford hadn't got hurt last year. This game, man, I love this game. I love the fact, if you look at the way this Saturday's set up, you said, you want to talk about this game as top 10 matchup. You have this top 10 matchup at noon Eastern, 3:30 the next window. You have that top 10 matchup, and at night you have some terrific. Like this day is loaded from start to finish. This isn't one of those where you can skip a window or where you can relax. Going to be a hell of a day from start to finish.
I know a lot of people complain about the big noon kickoff because it's usually the people who have to go to the game. Going to the first kickoff of the day as a fan in person fucking sucks. We know that. As somebody who's watching games all day from a couch, having a 12 o'clock game that means this much to the national landscape is so awesome. It starts the day. Starts the day.
All right, so let's move on from this one. Unless you believe Michigan's about to win this game, right?
I do. I'm going to sound like one of those parents. It's like, I just want both sides to have fun. This game and Alabama, Tennessee, I want to see close games. Don't give me blowouts. I want to see good games. I think Michigan's going to win. But if Penn State wants to make it interesting down to the wire, it wouldn't bother me. You
think Penn State is going to win this game?
No, I think it's going to be 27-24.
Michigan?
Yeah. And it won't. And then I still think Penn State will have
a puncher's chance against Ohio State.
Like they have next week against Minnesota, then they'll have a fighter's chance against Ohio State. The season's not over. And also, the questions will still be there with James Franklin, but Michigan's the better team here.
Well, for your round robin idea, Michigan would need to win this one.
Yes.
And then Penn State would need to beat Ohio State at home. Ohio State would beat Michigan at home.
I am very interested with this quarterback matchup, though. It's a great quarterback matchup from a questions perspective.
Let me say one more thing. Everything I said about J.J. McCarthy, this being his big spot, and he has never had to do it. If he does it, if he throws 300 yards and 4 touchdowns,
the Heisman. Get ready for the Heisman.
He's in the Heisman because Michigan gets a Heisman bump anyway, so he's in the Heisman. If he were to deliver here in a big way, he joins a Heisman immediately. I don't think there's anybody on Penn State that can join the Heisman, but he could.
It's his big coming out moment.
Same could be said for Blake Corum. If he run for 250,
yes, 100%.
It being in the big house helps a lot. I know it's the first time he's been on this type of stage, but it being at 12, not at night, I do feel like helps a little bit.
Does Michigan's grass look slow to y'all?
No.
No.
Michigan's grass looks slow to
I don't
me.
even think they have grass. They have turf.
Michigan's turf looks slow to me.
I will say, though, J.J. McCarthy, if you are trying to come up with something for him, he is a guy that he never started in those games, but he played in those big games. He played against Ohio State.
Yeah.
He played against Michigan State. He played against Georgia. Did he play great? No, but he isn't
it's not brand new.
It's not brand new, but it is much different.
It is different when you're getting all that. When everything you're thinking about all week, you're the guy, and then you
100%.
Right.
You know how I like to give you a hard time about hating on Michigan? And I love a good petty war especially when it's not my own war to fight, like when Jack goes into it with Michigan State. I feel like you don't even realize how deep your petty war is because you're now going against the big house's field.
Oh, I do that a lot with a lot of teams.
No, I
Purdue
know.
has slow grass.
I know, but it makes me laugh.
Who has fast-looking grass?
LSU.
LSU has fast-looking grass. Florida has fast-looking grass.
Can you describe what makes grass look fast?
I don't know.
It's probably
or
has
turf,
to do with
big
length.
houses
It
turf.
probably has to do with length.
Notre Dame's grass looks slow as hell.
It probably has to do with where the stadium's situated and how the sun's looking at the field.
The color, the hue of the grass. Slowest looking grass in the country.
Boise
might
State.
be turf. No, Northwestern.
You know why?
It looks like they're playing in a pasture.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. It's if your field looks like a high school field, it's gonna look slow because when you watch high school football, it's a slow game.
We have a fast looking field.
Yeah,
we're not even a fast team, but we have a fast looking field.
You know what? Maybe it is. It may be the angle of which the game's shot.
Yeah.
You know what else? It has to do with the shadows too, because you just mentioned the sun. Like there are certain stadiums, yours is one of them, where the shadows make absolutely no sense sometimes. Yeah. So half the field looks fast, half the field looks slow.
I mean, there are some stadiums I hate the angle. Ohio State's the number one. I hate their angle. That's Ohio State.
Too high.
Every receiver has looked wide open for the last 30 years.
It's an all 22.
Basically it's a blimp cam almost.
You know, I know this is a college football podcast, but you know what angle I hate the most in college sports?
What?
Vanderbilt basketball.
Oh yeah. Well, the fact that they got the sidelines.
Then it's so low.
Yeah.
It just what are we watching here?
Yeah.
I don't know if I hate the most. I hate Boise State the most because my eyes hurt. They bleed when I watch that game.
Eastern Washington.
Oh yeah.
Or is it Central Arkansas with gray?
Yeah, no, they have purple.
I can deal with neutral.
I think it's gray with purple end zones.
Maybe that's what it is.
I wear blue light glasses
Washington
to watch
red.
a green field half the time because everything on TV is blue light. Blue field should be banned forever.
What would be the
Boise State
you think Purdue could do or Iowa could do a black field?
See, I think that'd be cool.
Would we be able to see anything?
But think about though, snow games, when it's all white, it looks awesome. Like the change in that. Boise State program could no longer exist, and I will bitch about the blue field forever.
No. They're back.
They're back?
They're very much off the mat. They're good. They may be the G5 representative.
If you're talking
about something that you don't really know who's going to represent something, like a conference or whatnot, who's going to represent the G5? Coastal Carolina. What happens if they lose to JMU the last game of the season?
JMU's ranked.
And JMU couldn't do it.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
they would be the obvious answer right now.
All right, let's hit a couple more games before we get into the slate at large. Oklahoma State is number 8 in the country. They're at number 13, TCU.
Also another Jack game.
Well,
I know
just
What
TCU.
teams does he get?
Well,
I'm not an Oklahoma State fan.
But you like Spencer Sanders.
I like Spencer Sanders. I think he's someone that has just been forgotten from the Heisman perspective, which is ridiculous. But I think you're about to see Max. You want to talk about a guy who could become in a Heisman conversation. I think Max Duggan may throw for 500 yards. Oklahoma State's defense is not good. You have this perception because of last year. They are bad.
Well, Texas Tech ran
last week against Texas Tech.
them.
They were facing a third-string freshman quarterback and gave up 31 points.
He was on one. No, he
That's
was on
fine.
one leg.
I mean,
it's fine. He can be good, but what's the chances Texas Tech has 3 quarterbacks that should be putting up that big of numbers?
Katie's stats is showing us a stat that does not make me feel great about
Oklahoma State, 126 ranked in pass defense.
Not
They're
good.
giving up 304 yards in the air. They're 105th in total defense, 422 yards. Yeah, that's not a good sign.
That's pretty bad.
And TCU can sling it. They can score. They run a good pace. They have a great receiver. They have a great quarterback. TCU. Yeah, and this is why.
Yeah, we could see like 100 points here.
This is why.
What's the total right now?
68.5.
Hammer the over.
I believe
responsibly.
Coming in, I look at these two teams and I say, well, Oklahoma State's better. To me, Oklahoma State's a better football team. They went to Baylor and won. Why wouldn't they go to TCU? But this line, it started out even and it's gone to -4 for TCU. They are just telling me, Brandon, you have to bet TCU. That's the only thing that makes sense. So
Oklahoma State does really well as underdog.
Wells underdog, and they they went on the road at Baylor and handled business. They've been on the road and won a big game this year already. And TCU's big wins, they are Kansas, who
they shouldn't have won that game.
Great story, Kansas, but how good really are they? And then Oklahoma, which how good are they? So we'll see. But it looks like
you talk about
a big day for TCU
coaches, and I know we mentioned James Franklin and Jim Harbaugh. This one is interesting, too, because you have Sonny Dykes, who everyone in the country is talking about with his first year at TCU, and then Mike Gundy, who's been at Oklahoma State for 100 years, but always has the Mike Gundy game where it's like, all right, Oklahoma State's not really who we thought they were. Usually it happens at the end of the season, obviously last year in the Big 12 championship. But this game could scream a Mike Gundy game too, where it's like they are a top 10 team.
Yeah.
I know they're not favored, but it could be like, well, of course, like this team is not where we thought they would be. This game to me, I mean, Sonny Dykes in his first year, he's going to have the praises sung no matter what. This game's huge for Mike Gundy.
Can I ask a question? Based on the way TCU has started, the way Sonny Dykes has started, was Gary Patterson just asleep at the wheel? What happened those last couple of years?
He was singing.
I mean, what happened? Like he was like an old in a western, an old cowboy is just slumped over at the end of a trail on a horse, like he's just done. He just can't do it anymore. And is that what Gary Patterson?
I mean,
was?
yeah, I've heard stories that he just wasn't
checked out.
He wasn't checked out. It was more so the game passed them by, specifically from a coaching player's perspective. I don't think the players like playing for him as much as. That's a big factor, especially for someone where you just had a 5-7 season, or 6-4, 5-7, 7-6. It's like, wait a second, what's this guy saying?
Yeah.
He had. I mean, since 2017. Gross.
I mean, he should be given all the respect and have a statue built of him out there.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. 2 quick coaching predictions, and then we'll move on. David Shaw will either retire or get fired at Stanford this year, and the next Auburn coach will be Lane Kiffin. So what is the
not Matt Rule?
What?
Not Matt Rule at all. No, he's gonna do TV and make a lot of money.
But you changed. You used to say
I know,
Rule,
but
Matt
then
Rule.
I realized how much his buyout was.
40 million?
I have looked. It's $40 million minus whatever he'll make at another job.
Well,
he'll cover it.
I know we're looking at Matt Rule from the Carolina standpoint. I feel like I know it's just Temple and Baylor. I think he's going to get a lot of calls in college.
I think he might get a lot of calls, but I think he also is smart enough to say I could sit out a year, get the same calls next year with a different group of jobs, and make $40 million or make a bunch of money without doing anything.
Brett McMurphy said that he getting fired earlier in the season will have a lot to do with whether he comes back this season or not. He was expecting more to get fired at the end of the season.
Why? Because you think he'll get restless by the end of the season? I could see that happening.
That's an interesting theory. I never thought about that.
And Brett McMurphy's like as good as it gets. Pretty good information.
May I eat this applesauce?
Yes, please. Just don't do it. Okay. A couple of other ranked matchups I'll get to. NC State at Syracuse. NC State without their quarterback. This is going to be an ugly game because NC State. I watched them when that quarterback went down. When Leary went down,
they can't.
They can't do anything. They wouldn't even attempt to pass the ball. They might take the air out of this football. They can't even really run it that well. They're just this could be very, very ugly at Syracuse. And Syracuse undefeated at this point. If they win this game, they're all of a sudden 7-0. Dino Babers or 6-0. Excuse me. Dino Babers just a wild tenure at Syracuse where he had the 10-win season a couple years ago and then garbage and now gold again. Garbage, gold, garbage, gold.
Remember the year of Tommy DeVito?
Yeah, well, we're in that now, just for a different team.
Well, no, but the hype around him, yes. Yeah. But it was just Tommy DeVito. They play Clemson next, right?
Yeah.
So imagine they're undefeated playing Clemson. The hype. I understand. I personally think Clemson is a wildly better team, but for Syracuse fans, that's a lot of hype.
By the way, I don't know who Syracuse blew or who Syracuse did favors for. Does this seem like every game Syracuse plays is in the Dome this year?
Yeah, but then they're back into the season.
I guess, but every game we've seen them, they've been in this dome. They got Clemson. Well, they're at Clemson next week. But they got Notre Dame coming to the dome in a couple of weeks. Like it seems like they got Florida State coming to the dome. Like
I mean, their only away game thus far has been UConn.
they've been to UConn. That's it. They've had 5 games. They've been at home every single week, and that's 2 conference games in Purdue. Like they have not left that dome.
That is crazy.
And they got NC State this week in the dome, and they're a different team. Like I would imagine this is a great if they win this game, and you can get a low price on their first big road game at Clemson. Clemson's going to throttle them. I mean, just destroy them. But it also depends on what kind of Clemson effort we get this week.
Speaking of domes, the Chrome domes from UNC.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a sex joke.
I wish we had. I don't want to talk about them too much because I don't think we have time for Noah to grab the tweets and put them in the visual. But maybe the best day of uniform drops of the season this week when.
Don't loop yourself in with that one.
I agree.
Ours were so much better.
They look great, but Brandon, you've worn those uniforms before.
Come on, don't stretch it out.
Brandon, you've worn those.
It was nice,
all
cool
whites
storm.
before.
North Carolina with their helmet drop, beautiful chrome helmet with the Tar Heel. Now all I want to do is stretch that out.
Why?
I'm probably going to stretch it out.
Don't touch him.
I'm going to rip it.
Don't touch him.
No,
rip
be
it.
nice.
Don't touch him.
Mississippi State's uniforms, the icy whites at Kentucky, they're hating on them. You hear
I don't
this?
hate on them.
Oregon State, yours are great. Oregon
They look
State's
great,
are
but
great.
you've worn them before.
Utah's,
We've not worn them.
You've worn all
weird
white
Utah helmets.
uniforms.
We haven't worn the state script with the all whites.
Uniform.
But the best in the country. Did y'all see BYU's helmets?
Yes.
I think Utah helmets are better than that.
I still think that's.
There's better symbolism.
I think it's a little.
BYU didn't have 2 players
Isn't it
die
a
on their
little-
team.
It's a little much.
And
listen, I understand the significance of it.
it's awesome and it's going to make
amazing.
the kids feel good.
I think it's a little much.
Why?
I don't know. It's just never.
Both the players died in the past.
No, I
Wait, is it
I
both
know.
players on either side of the helmet?
Yeah, but
their
they
faces
both
are
wore
on it.
22. The
But
kid.
it's a picture of the kid, right?
No, they have a logo that has 22.
Have I seen a bad helmet?
No,
I'm
I saw
looking.
the same picture you're talking
Oh, I
about.
must have seen a bad helmet.
Their face is on it.
They don't have the face on the helmet?
Yeah, there is. I've
Yes.
seen them.
Yeah. They got a picture of the kid's face on the helmet.
I'm just pulling it up.
It's right there.
There's both of them on either side.
Incredible
So when you
for
line
like
up-
a helmet that you wear out for like the beginning of the game to honor them. Maybe put their number on it, but their faces on the helmet seems. Again, I'm not trying to be insensitive whatsoever. I personally think it's a little much.
Yeah, right there. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, what happens when it gets chipped up?
Like the back of it, the logo with
That's
the
a
number and the
sick
name.
idea.
That's
It's a sick
no,
idea.
it for sure is. I've just
Yeah.
never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's never happened to my knowledge. Anyway, but I thought BYU's helmet this week is the best. If you look it up on Twitter, if you're watching.
It's great. North Carolina's was the best.
No, North Carolina's helmet was not
Chrome
better than
domes.
BYU's. No, not.
I will.
Not
The
even
chrome
close.
I liked.
Chrome's overrated as fuck.
Well, chrome's also
Because
all.
UConn
I
The
think you
do
should
it.
sing every sentence you say.
chrome is hot in the
Motherfucker.
streets.
No, you should sing every sentence you say.
Okay.
Like when you sang that as fuck, I like that.
Yeah, no, it is
It was
overrated.
a nice melody.
Yeah, when you say like Tennessee's overrated.
Nah, we should get Caroline in here. Yeah.
You know,
She can give out our picks.
I got off on a
Song
technicality. That's Parks and Rec.
you also, I noticed on Twitter that you apparently had some reference last podcast that none of us got because we're too young.
Yeah, I think there's a Bernie Mac reference or something.
Who knows?
That-
Him downstairs.
That's
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were saying
from the-
him.
It's from the original Kings of Comedy. Him downstairs. Who the fuck is him?
Never seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
I need
You should
to, I
watch
know.
Bernie. Okay, I'm gonna give you an assignment.
Okay.
You don't have to watch the entire original Kings of Comedy. That would be too long because D.L. Hewley's garbage and trash is terrible. But watch Cedric the Entertainer's set and watch Bernie Mac's set.
Okay.
And if you have time to watch the Steve Harvey music set, you should watch that too.
Okay. I will do so. I can't promise when, but
Okay. Where are we at? Mississippi State, Kentucky. Yeah.
Mississippi State's going to win the football
No,
game.
they're not. I've been here a lot. I've been here a long time.
Brandon,
Casey,
Brandon,
if you're going to go
hear
on
me
about
out.
battered Aggie syndrome, I've
That's
seen
my
this movie
point.
before. I've
That
seen
is
this
my
movie
point.
before.
That is my point. Because every time I sit here about it, and I've not said that term this year out of pure spite, every time I sit here and I say, I've seen this movie before, I know how this feels, what do? You pick me up. You're a good podcast
I told you you're going to beat
co-host.
Miami. I told you you're
Yeah.
going to beat
Arkansas. I am telling you, that this Mississippi State team is not the Mississippi State team that we've seen in the past. And I know people are on my ass right now because I said that I didn't put Will Rogers in my top 5 quarterbacks. I still think that this offense is incredibly good. I am not sold on Kentucky, and I know you're down, and you have a reason to be down because any fan of any team that's been hurt is always down in these situations. I am telling you, as somebody who's not been hurt in a Mississippi State-Kentucky game, this Mississippi State team is better than this Kentucky team.
I've had a lot of
Will Rogers is better than Will Levis.
I've had a lot of anti-Will Levis stuff on film in the last couple of months. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Let's just move on from that game. There's no point in talking
Mississippi
about it.
State will win the football game.
God, I hope so, but I don't think so. But I think maybe, pound for pound, the biggest game of the day, based on what it does to its conference, what it does inside its conference race and everything. And I know UCLA's there undefeated, and I know Oregon is just laying there like they're ready. But Utah has only got one Pac-12 loss. They can still do something in that league. And USC is a team that has gone from mediocrity, complacency, moroseness to halfway through the season they're a top 10 team and a national title contender. And they play in Utah on Saturday night, and this is a place where dreams go to die for a lot of teams.
This is also, and I know if you listen to this podcast, I have been writing USC like crazy. I think I might be in love with Lincoln Riley as a storyline at this point because I've been talking about it. This game has been circled for every single person that keeps waiting to see USC fail. Every single one, from when we're talking about the preseason in June and July to this week itself. No spoiler alerts even on the college football show. I cannot figure out what people have seen through 6 weeks of college football that would lead you to believe that what you thought this USC-Utah game was going to be is actually what we're seeing on Saturday. Because, yes, Utah only has one Pac-12 loss. They also lost to Florida.
Yeah.
They're not as good as people expected them to be.
So
USC is.
The thing with Utah is I don't think they're all that good. I think the defense isn't all that good. They've given up this is probably the weakest Utah defense we've seen in a while. They're giving up, and they're not bad, but they've given up chunks, especially to mobile quarterbacks. What people do see in Utah is a team that when they're at home, they're a completely different animal. And that is something USC is going to have to overcome because Utah at home, they have lost 2 games, and they've lost them both on the road at UCLA and at Florida.
Fine.
And they're a different animal at Utah. So if Utah comes out and wins this game 42-35, I won't be shocked, but I will be a little surprised. I think they've had trouble against 2 teams, and that's the team that had Anthony Richardson at quarterback. That's the team that had DTR at quarterback. 2 very mobile quarterbacks, 2 very good quarterbacks. And this is the best quarterback they've faced all year.
Correct.
With the best weapons they faced all year. Well, that might not be fair because UCLA has some special weapons like Charbonnet, but certainly on par with.
No, this is the most
weapons.
Most weapons.
Because Travis Dye is also a very good running back.
Travis Dye is just as good as Charbonnet.
And then you
Jordan
have the
Addison.
receivers.
And then Jordan
Mario
Addison
Williams.
and Mario Williams are better than Bobo and like the other guys.
Yeah, you're right. This is the best group of weapons they faced, and they just gave up 42.
And I would rather have Caleb Williams than DTR. I mean, it's not a huge gap, but
DTR very good.
But I'd rather have Caleb.
Yes, and I know that when this show comes out, I assume the crossover for the college football show and Unnecessary Roughness is pretty similar because if you like college football, you're watching it. But this argument on Saturday that comes out, you and I are on the same side with it. I understand that Utah is a very tough place to play. They are very good at home. I get that. But this is also not the same USC team that we have seen in recent past. Utah has, for a long time, been historically hard to play at. This USC team is not those same teams that have been coming in. And correct me if I'm wrong, every single USC doubter has said they're going to trip up almost every single week, other than the cupcake games they played. They said it against Oregon State.
Yeah.
They said it against.
Well, some said it against Stanford. Some said it against Fresno to a point.
Every single week, it's like this is going to be the week.
The
this is
turnover
going to be
luck
the
for
week.
USC is
substantial.
Or do you credit them for creating the turnovers?
Yeah, but at a certain point, they had 4 turnovers.
Well,
that's fine, but it's like, at what point do we just say USC is as good as they look?
I understand the turnover luck is something that does even out in the long run. But one of the things about USC this year that people said was, they're going to be good offensively with all the transfers. And that's fine. We'll get to that. They're going to be good this year with all the transfers offensively. Caleb Williams is going to be good. The receivers will be good. They'll score a lot of points, but their defense is awful. Their defense is not awful. Their defense is they've given up 14 points, 25 points, 14 points, 17 points in the last 4 weeks. This is a team that they bend a little. They don't break. They've given up 350 yards a game. But that's not a bad number.
If Utah had dropped, obviously, even one of those games, had they beaten Florida, then fine. UCLA, I mean, clearly that offense is very good. But it just seems like people are laying in wait for whatever reason, whether it's because they just don't like USC or they don't believe in USC or whatever it may be. Every week, it's like, this is going to be the week USC trips up. And they've not yet. They've given up some points. Caleb Williams has not had the craziest stats in the country. But this is not the Utah that we expected them to be. So why is it all of a sudden, and I know the spread is 3.5 in Utah's favor because it's at home, but I don't understand this USC doubting every single week.
I will say this. I think USC is going to go win the game.
I do too.
However, this is a cliche, but I think it really makes sense for this game, and it's really prevalent here. You will know if Utah is winning this game in the first 3 to 5 minutes of the game. I feel like this is a game where Utah at home is juiced up and coming out. If they're leading, if they get the ball first, go touchdown, 3-and-out touchdown, it's going to be a long fucking night, and that's very possible to get shell-shocked like that in Utah. But if USC and Utah play to a standstill in the first 10, 15 minutes, I think talent's going to rule the day, and USC's. I do think USC's going to win the football game.
If USC loses, are the playoffs over?
No.
Okay.
I think because the Pac-12 gives you other opportunities. It gives you – can I pull up USC's schedule, please? The Pac-12 we thought would be a 1 or 2 team race, but the Pac-12 has come out so good so far, it gives you other opportunities. And here's what's laying ahead for USC. If they were to lose on the road at Utah, they're going to beat Arizona. They're going to beat Cal. They're going to beat Colorado. But then let's say they're playing a 9-1 or 10-0 UCLA, and then they end the season with a Notre Dame team who very well could be 8-4, 9-3, something like that around there. Notre Dame's got off the mat. They have 2 big games to end with. If they lose this game, and as long as they don't get blown out,
play an 11-1 Oregon.
They could play Oregon. Yeah, they're going to have a lot of opportunity at the end of the season if they have a loss to jump up. So no,
I was just posing the question.
It wouldn't kill it, and in fact, I think after this week. Well, regardless of what happens, there's 3 Pac-12 playoff contenders right now.
UCLA, USC, Oregon.
That's your 3.
Okay, cool.
Utah.
I'm about to say Utah's right there.
No, Utah's not a contender because they got 2 losses. But Utah can fuck up the season for any of those.
If Utah, I don't think it's going to happen. If they win out,
no,
they have 2 losses.
They have 2 losses, and they don't have the excuse that Texas has. They don't
because they didn't lose their quarterback.
They don't have the injured quarterback.
Yeah. And Florida looks not very good. It's not like Florida goes 11-1.
Right. This game, when you look at what USC has ahead of them before you get to the UCLA game, which very clearly is the battle for LA, which I think is awesome because Chip Kelly and Lincoln Riley against each other is going to be great no matter what. But if USC does win this game, which I think they are going to, it has to silence the doubters of USC. And I'm not saying that if you doubt USC, you're not watching football, because you clearly are. But how can you doubt USC at this point when they're doing everything that everybody said that they weren't going to do? And I know it's early, but their hardest games until UCLA after this weekend are over with. You have to give credit to Lincoln Riley and this team if they win this game, which they will.
All right, here's the thing. USC, by the way, their turnover margin is insane. They forced 15 turnovers and lost one turnover. Caleb Williams has 1 interception. They've lost 0 fumbles. That's a scary number, 0 fumbles, because you know when it comes, it's coming in 2
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, turnover luck is going to catch up, but the best thing for them would be if that turnover luck reverses itself when they're playing Colorado and Cal. They drop a couple balls. Yeah. So we'll see.
But if you're going up against a defense, go back to that case, Katie. Sorry, you're going up against a defense, Utah, who is also pretty good at causing turnovers. If you're going to give it credit,
yeah,
they're 14th on what we're looking at right now, national leaders turnover margin on CFBstats.com. If you're listening or watching at home, you could see this being an issue. Now, This is also another one of those weird feels where it's, hey, everyone thinks they're so smart betting Utah this weekend. Maybe USC's actually the side. We'll see. But it should be a great game, and I agree with you. It's going to be a raucous environment, and if USC goes behind early. But we have seen Caleb Williams go into raucous environments down 18 and come back. He was down against Oklahoma State late in that game and almost pulled off one of the most miraculous comebacks we've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's why I disagree with your point of you'll know within the first 3 to 5 minutes because of this offense. If USC goes down, unless they go down by multiple scores, I don't think that anything is out of the question for how explosive that offense is.
I feel like if you get down at Utah 14-0, 21-0, you look around, you're just surrounded by red and their defense, which just seems like they're flying around the football. Like that's just going to be a terrible, nasty environment.
Lincoln Riley has historically come back against teams when it seems like everything's stacked up against them. Now, has it always happened? No. Obviously, we've seen him struggle against the best of the best, but Utah's not the best of the best.
Okay, here we go. So let's start with the slate of the noon games.
Wait, we talked NC State? Yeah.
Well, kind of. We'll go through the slate,
Okay,
and whatever we haven't talked about, we'll talk about. The noon games, starting with big noon kickoff on Fox. You've got Penn State at Michigan, number 10 against number 5. The walking dead corpse that is Auburn goes into Oxford, Mississippi to face their future coach, Lane Kiffin.
Why did Lane Kiffin post that photo, Jack?
It was weird.
I don't even know what to say.
Because he could be doing that right now to Ole Miss.
Lane Kiffin what did it even mean?
What did it mean?
So I was like, wait a second.
What does it mean?
But then I was like, wait a second. Why is he doing this? Is it an anniversary? No, because he did that like in December or November, late November after the season. It was before the bowl game. It was after the season.
Why?
That
It was
photo
just
was from like late November.
He tweeted out a picture of him just standing in the office.
Well, that's the photo of the night that he caused riots at Knoxville when he left. Did you know
That's
that?
what I don't understand.
Did you
Why?
know that's that photo? That's him about to tell Philip Fulm or everybody that he's leaving.
Brandon,
Yes. You didn't know this?
Brandon, you didn't.
I thought he looked a lot younger.
That's
The
at Tennessee.
foreshadowing.
That's the infamous photo.
Yes.
Oh, this
And he
motherfucker's
tweeted it
going
out
to Auburn so hard.
yesterday.
This motherfucker's going to Auburn so hard.
Why
Okay.
did he tweet this?
Okay, all right. I don't know. That's weird.
Isn't that weird? I mean, he's still
Not
wearing.
weird. He's going to do great. At
You
all.
know how you could tell how old that was? He's wearing a wedding ring.
I didn't look for that. Do you naturally look for that?
Well, I feel like you it just kind of pops off the page.
Today's my wife's birthday.
I know.
Oh yeah, you.
I helped you pick out the
Oh,
gift.
we haven't said that story yet.
Oh, Jack.
Me and Casey went to the jewelry store and helped me pick out my wife's birthday present yesterday.
We went to Macy's on 34th,
Yeah, and
I helped him. It was very funny to watch when we would walk up to the fine jewelry counters, and he would say, "Oh, I'm picking out something for my wife," and everyone would look at me. I'm like, "Oh, no, it's not me." Trust me, it makes sense. The coolest part, though, is we were walking in. We were right on the corner of 7th and 34th, or 34th and 7th, and an NYPD officer with his microphone from inside the squad car said, "Hey, Brandon Walker," and then realized I was standing there and said, "I love you, Casey," and everyone's kind of looking around, and we were just like, "Wow,
it was a cool moment. So
it's a
shout
cool
out
moment.
to shout out to that police officer.
Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
to the men in blue.
Shout out to we're a big Men in Blue podcast.
If you are stationed on 34th
That's
and
a
7th,
music group, right?
that's
The Blue Man
the
Group.
Blue Man
Blue
Group.
Man Group.
Yes.
And Men in Black was a movie.
Yes.
If you were on the corner of 34th and 7th yesterday, we like you.
Hello to you.
Hello to you. And also, we picked out a hell of a gift for Brandon's wife.
Yeah, we did. Oof. That cost. Okay.
I got to tell you, diamond shopping when you're not paying for it is a lot of fun.
Oh, she was. Like,
I was
she
in
was so excited.
heaven.
Show me that one. Show me that one. Show me that one.
Yeah,
Not
like-
that I got my wife a diamond.
you did.
The big one.
And it was a very nice cut and clarity.
Kansas is at Oklahoma, number 19.
Weird
Kansas. It is a weird game. It does.
What do you think about that line?
It feels like this is.
Like where Oklahoma wakes up?
It feels like this is the where not only Oklahoma wakes up, but it's the moment where Kansas is like, oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense in the year two. That right there.
Yeah, I know what
but,
you're saying. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like in my mind, my gut says Oklahoma shouldn't be a 9-point favorite over anybody. But the fact they are tells me that this might be where you look up and say, well, Kansas, boy, that was fun. God, that was fun. But you're still in year two of a total rebuild.
Yes, but the only thing is they could all of a sudden have righted the ship, if
Yeah.
that's the term I'm looking for. But that defense for Oklahoma is so god awful.
Yeah, why can't
And
Jason Bean throw
That's
the
what
ball
I'm
around?
saying. Like,
Well, that's true. They could. But why is it
TCU
9-point spread, Jack?
Well, why it's a 9-point spread?
Kansas is one of the best offenses in the country so far.
It's frustrating, but every metric still loves Oklahoma as like a top 15 team.
Kansas has one of the most electric offenses. They're scoring 40 points a game. Everything about them has scored a lot of points. Oklahoma is one of the worst defenses in the country, and they're a 9-point favorite.
I think.
I know.
I think Jack is right, though. For some reason, it's favoring OU, and it's looking at Kansas, as everybody has looked at Kansas up until this year. But TCU's defense, and I know we're not supposed to play college football math, but TCU's defense is clearly much better than Oklahoma's. And Jason Bean came in and had no problems against
I
that.
don't think it's that much better. I think they both kind of stink, at least pass defense-wise.
I mean, Oklahoma's defense is the worst defense I've ever seen right now.
You can't compare Oklahoma and TCU's. I know there's
At
the
least
metrics.
pass
I know
defense.
The metrics,
but the
but
pass
it's not
defense.
the
But
games
you have to
themselves,
remember,
like
the pass defense was facing an Oklahoma offense for an entire game while they were up 28 points. So you have to look at game situations sometimes for those overall. Oklahoma's pass defense is awful, and overall total pass defense is awful, even with being down 3 to 4 scores for a lot of their games, and 3 to 4 scores a lot of their games. So the team's running the ball; they're not throwing anymore.
Yeah, I
Texas barely threw the ball in the fourth quarter
they
last week.
They didn't have to. TCU's defense, I think, is much better. But Jason Bean, unless it was just one of those games where it was they so much hype around it, losing Jalen Daniels. But Jason Bean played well last year, lost his job to a better quarterback. But I don't understand how Jason Bean can't come in and
He's
throw
almost
all
like
over
Jalen
Oklahoma.
Daniels 2.0, but a little bit worse. But he's still good.
Right, and Oklahoma stinks.
Oh, you want?
I kind of wanted to read it.
Yeah.
Read what?
He knows what I'm looking up.
I don't think anyone transcribed. It's almost impossible.
I know. I wanted to. We haven't talked about Tennessee and Alabama. We talked about Tennessee and Alabama, but the fan that put out the rap
He puts one out every week.
with the Harambe tattoo that has Smokey's face on it.
I can't decide which way it makes me lean.
Exactly.
Release a little sneak peek. Yeah, I got Smokey on my chest. After Saturday, them Bama fans will lay to rest.
Oh.
Now, let me release some of this heat.
Tell him.
Hey, Bama fans, take a seat.
Take a fucking seat.
Bunch of them.
Sag here with the do-rag in K-Town. It's about to go down in the 8C5.
Oh, God.
After this game, you will not survive.
Oh, God.
Bama,
Yeah,
go
rhythm's not
ahead
good.
and retire while you alive.
Oh, it's so white.
Tennessee about to drop the hammer on Bama. It will be like they was dragged to the slammer. Yeah, they awful wet, ugly, crimson. You should
Good
be
point.
locked up in a prison. Looks as dumb as Homer Simpson. That ugly fat elephant isn't really irrelevant. It took Saban giving away them Dodge Chargers, but in your mind, the real OG was the Artful Dodger.
What?
Cartridge Holland Way.
You want me to go back?
On the
No.
field like a beast. Now Hooker gonna annihilate and you win the East.
What?
Because
Hooker.
he's the real new OG of the SEC East. Hey,
He just rhymed East with
you know
East.
why? 'Cause we the real beast.
Beast.
East, and Beast.
Can I-
What lyrical wordplay?
That's Andy.
Hey, what's up, Bone?
Andy
Ball for
VFL. Yeah, Andy VFL 423 on TikTok.
I will say this, and I didn't think it was possible. Listening to it without looking at him
Yeah, it's worse.
actually made it worse.
It's worse. Yeah.
Is actually worse.
So he does one of these every week, and then he releases on Thursday night the final. This is the sneak peek.
You know who?
That was just a sneak peek?
Oh yeah,
Tonight
had
we
a
get the whole
full
thing.
he has a final. Yeah.
Oh, God.
he's been doing this forever.
We got so. By the way, how does somebody so skinny have such a big fat roll in the middle of his stomach?
It's a skin roll.
You know who he looks like?
Oh, no.
He looks like Justin
no.
Timberlake in the Dick in a Box
Oh my
video.
God, he does.
Oh,
He looks exactly like Justin Timberlake in the Dick in a Box video.
on
yeah.
crack.
It's my Dick in a Box.
So when we're talking about full length,
you
Jack,
don't got bars if you can't flow. That's
That's
facts.
true. That's facts.
how
By
long-
the way, this is fun. Every Thursday, we're doing this guy every Thursday.
Look, go to this
I
one.
need to know this one every Thursday.
So that's the sneak peek. That's
Yeah.
the real one to the left.
Oh, so there's okay.
Oh, it's
so
out. It's out.
He must
No,
have
no.
just released it.
oh, he's wearing a jersey now. This was 2 days ago. This says the preheat Bama diss.
Laying
but-
some smoke.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's move on. Let's go back to the slate.
How is it that people like that And I mean, credit to him. He's creating content. Yeah. Go fly under the radar for so long. He's been doing this for way too long for us to not know.
We've tweeted him out multiple times.
Well,
this time
last year we did.
This time we tweeted him out. He got 1 million views on our thing.
The
video you tweeted out got 1 million views.
No, yeah, he did one before.
Or the video itself
he did one before Florida last year.
Who did the Miami?
This year.
The Miami A&M one.
There was like some random Miami guy.
I like how like the smoke.
But he's
on the
like an actual
lot.
comedian where he's doing it as a joke. This guy's for real. He thinks he has bars.
Oh, I love this guy.
Does he freestyle?
No, he's reading that one off somebody's phone. All right, so quickly through the noon slate, Iowa State at Texas, just to make sure the Texas, every game they play with Quinn Ewers is kind of rebuilding and getting to where they're going to be. Minnesota's at Illinois in a very key Big Ten West matchup. Minnesota's already taken a loss. Illinois is, I guess they've taken a loss too. They lost to Indiana. But
Illinois fans were mad at me for not.
Illinois is number 24 in the country. Well, that was a little crazy.
It was not.
Not to have Chase Brown in your top 5?
I
crazy.
Put him on
you should have
my
done
list.
that after we interviewed him.
That's not a diss to him. I love Chase Brown.
But interesting spot here. Minnesota's favored by 6.5, even though they just lost a couple. They just lost last week. Feels like they lost a couple weeks ago. But
I like Minnesota. I know I picked them to win that division. I'm taking Illinois money.
Well, it feels like this is a spot to take Minnesota though. 6.5 point favorite.
Ibrahim's back.
Yeah, he's so good. All right, continue as we go through the slate. We're still in the noon games. Colgate at Army is going to be a hell of a game. I'm probably going to go. Miami at Virginia Tech in a match to see who has the deadest program. Vanderbilt at Georgia at 3:30. The same time.
You missed UConn, Ball State. Chance to win 3 in a row for UConn in Muncie, Indiana. It's going to be a big one. Shout out UConn. Shout out Mora. Shout out all the Huskies out there.
I did miss that one. Him downstairs. The biggest game in the SEC on Saturday is Vanderbilt at number 1 Georgia at 3:30. If you can't get that because too many people are watching, go ahead and flip over to CBS and watch number 3 Alabama at number 6 Tennessee at the exact same time. Good for Vanderbilt that's happening, by the way. Oklahoma State TCU is also at 3:30, so 2 top 13 matchups at the same time.
3.
That's not a top 13 matchup. 3 top 20 matchups.
Top 20.
Top 18.
3 top 18 matchups. Thank you very much. In the same time, NC State, Syracuse, Arkansas at BYU, and a big game for my ego.
Huge.
This might be the biggest game of the week for me.
I think KJ Jefferson's back.
That's fine. He's not any good. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that he is a big part of that offense.
Imagine. Let's just say hypothetically what happens goes in all of our favor, and that's BYU beating Arkansas. Can you imagine how happy you are going to be going back through those receipts again?
Buddy. I go through them on a weekly basis now.
I know, but this would be the come to fruition time because like you said on Saturday night, if they somehow beat BYU, which is possible,
yeah. I mean,
then they could say, see,
they're
you
going
were
to
right.
do that. They're going to do that.
If they lose.
Yeah.
Is this 4?
This is the fourth
one. This is the
I
final
said on this show,
hurrah.
Arkansas is about to lose the next 4. Everybody called me crazy. They were number 7 in the country at the time. I said they're going to lose the next 4. Everybody in Arkansas called me an idiot, a redneck, a dumb son of a bitch. They are now 3-3, going for their 4th loss at BYU.
The angriest fans. They need to get laid.
Okay, so we're moving on through the 3:30 slate. Kent State Toledo, of course, is great. Charlotte UAB is fantastic. Can't wait. Western Kentucky, Minnesota. JMU on the road as a ranked team for the first time.
Minnesota's playing 2 games tomorrow.
Did I say Minnesota?
Yeah, Middle Tennessee.
It starts with MI. What do you want me to do? James Madison ranked on the road at Georgia Southern. Wisconsin at Michigan State in a game that we thought coming in might be a top 10 matchup. It is very much not.
Low key. A pretty big game for Michigan State.
Big game I think every game's big for Wisconsin going forward.
Especially Jim Leonard.
They're trying to decide what they're going to do.
Yes, no, 100%.
And they look so different last week. Will they look different again? Will Graham Mertz be rolling out and throwing the ball? It's an interesting.
Well, if there's a defense to do it against.
It's Michigan State.
LSU at Florida in an unranked matchup, which at one point, Florida, what did they get to number 11 this year?
Yes.
LSU started off, they were ranked. Interesting there, too. LSU was a 4.5 point favorite, now a 2.5 point favorite. Looks like people are thinking LSU's going to win this football game. I don't really see how, but we'll see. We'll see. That's a sneaky big game for the way both of those seasons go.
I think for both first-year coaches as well.
Well, here's what I believe
just to feel a little bit confident.
Here's what I feel about these two teams. I think Napier could lose this and be okay. I don't know that Kelly could lose this and be okay.
Yes,
I feel like
agree.
LSU feels like a team that'll quit. They quit last year.
Yeah, they did.
They feel like a team that'll quit. You'll have Butte and everybody else just start opting out, and they'll quit. Whereas Napier seems like he has a very firm control of his program, win or lose. Brian Kelly doesn't feel like he has a firm control of LSU.
Well, never forget that Napier makes him wear matching socks to practice.
Well, those matter so much that if they lose this game, they're not going to quit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
They're all in. So let's continue. Yeah, what was that? There was
Eli Ricks is just acting really weird at Alabama, man.
Eli, you talk about a guy, I always thought he was overrated at LSU anyway, but he goes to Alabama and he hasn't really popped this year at all.
No, the guy who made the pass breakup, or you could call it pass interference on the last play of the game against Texas A&M is the guy who's been replacing Eli Ricks. He's a true freshman. I forget his name, Brady Turner or something.
Eli Ricks put this on Instagram, a picture of him in an LSU uniform. Keep in mind, he plays for Alabama, and it's in the season. And he put a picture of him in an LSU uniform and says, "I know what to do, parentheses, do, then come."
Well, it's
is that a lyric?
Lyrics, yes.
Okay.
I assume it's a lyric, but it's kind of sus.
It always means something.
It's a weird lyric.
It's a weird-ass lyric. And then also
the black and white is always a weird...
Not even. He put a picture of himself in an LSU uniform.
What I'm saying. That's why we put it up.
Too. Yes, no, I know. It's very strange.
Also, he has no pictures on his Instagram of him in Alabama stuff. Imagine you're dating someone new and you put up a picture of yourself with your ex on your Instagram story while you have no pictures of you with your significant other on your Instagram. How would you feel?
Especially if it's in black and white, because then it's like your black and white just makes it more romantic.
And you can't tell me that he doesn't look it. He's just like who.
The transfer portal is overall a great thing and it's fantastic, but it does create these weird little things.
Would you know he's a football player?
I bet there's a lot of people that regret transferring, and it kind of looks like he might be one, but we don't know.
Why does his bio say almost over?
Who knows?
He maybe it's the name of a song he's writing. Maybe he's a rapper. I don't know. Control how you respond
to things sent to destroy you.
So now he's putting up stuff that people put up after breakups.
All right, let's go.
In black and white. I can't say that enough. That's a dramatic girl move.
Mississippi State at Kentucky, whatever. Stanford at Notre Dame, as Notre Dame continues to piece together what they're doing.
Talk about how small the line is for Clemson, Florida State.
I can't take Clemson more responsibly.
If you are a better...
You have to bet Florida State.
You have to bet Florida State.
I know, but I just can't.
They're telling you to bet Florida State.
Good. This game's going to be one we talk about on Saturday night. Like, wait, that was a good game.
Florida State lost to Wake Forest, and they were in the game. They lost to NC State in a game they all but won. You know, Clemson didn't destroy Wake Forest. Clemson did destroy NC State. And now they're on the road. This is a tough spot for Clemson.
It's tough, but they've gotten the things that I questioned about Clemson, which was all offensive. They've gotten those right, and I know BC is god-awful, but still, they beat them 31-3, and DJ has continued to roll.
This is Will Rogers' rankings of balls thrown over 20 yards.
He's
I saw that.
First in passing grade. He's first in passer rating. He's first in big-time throws. He's first in big-time throw percentage.
This is among SEC
quarterbacks
pretty good.
First in completion percentage, first in adjusted completion percentage, first in touchdowns, first in interceptions, first in... Okay, that sounds fun. I'm enjoying that. All right, we continue as we go through Nebraska at Purdue.
You know this guy?
Yes, I do. He's the SID for Mississippi State football.
Nice.
Yeah, fantastic. In Nebraska at Purdue, anybody any thoughts there? Purdue, sneaky good.
I mean, if Nebraska wins this...
That's 3 in a row.
And they're at the top of the Big Ten West. Yeah. But what West?
Just out of curiosity, we've been talking a lot about the Nebraska job, and I know obviously losing to...
Oh, I didn't realize UNC Duke was this week.
I know, yeah. UNC's a 7-point favorite on the road at Duke.
That makes me nervous for this game. I don't know why.
You guys are going to smash them.
I would have priced it at -11.
Carolina's not bad, and they're getting better. Their defense is getting better.
Drake May's one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Carolina's going to smash them.
I do too. It's definitely not a home game for Duke.
There's
It'll be
some
at least
bad
50-50,
games late, man.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like. So I said every window, but the night window they've moved. You know, USC Utah isn't stuck at 10:30 like a Pac-12 game. It's at 8 o'clock. It's the main attraction there. So that's fun.
Nevada, Hawaii is up there as one of the worst games of the year, as well as New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Those are 2 of the worst games of the season.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No.
I'm trying to think of. Did you finish your applesauce?
I did finish my applesauce.
Oh gosh, you finished the hell out of it.
Well, yeah, it's like 2 sips.
They are good.
You know what?
I am too.
Never trust Chris.
Huh?
Because if Chris crossed the applesauce, what's he gonna do to you?
Oh, huh.
W.
Him downstairs.
Oh, I've given out a play.
Because we run. We run when somebody else runs.
I've given
we
out
don't
a
need
play.
no run coordinator.
The Pride play last week.
I gave out 3 straight plays that have won on this podcast. What
is it this week,
going
Jack?
to be this week?
What's everyone's favorite play?
It's just going to be TCU.
What?
-3. Oh, is that your?
I'm taking USC money line.
Mine's TCU.
Was it on the show?
That's my lock on the show, yeah.
Sorry, well, I obviously didn't know because I was kicked off the show.
Oklahoma State is 13-2 against the spread as an underdog.
Don't
That's
care.
why you got to bet TCU.
Don't care. Those were different teams.
My pick on the show is Clemson, which I'm still rolling with, but it was only because we talked about USC so much by that point. I felt like I couldn't then double down, triple down, quadruple down. It's USC money line.
Mine is Michigan Penn State first half under, and I'm also part of the pick 'em parlay this week,
you know
so have fun
did.
to bet.
Rico got relegated.
And Dan.
It's me.
Dan got relegated?
It's me, Dukes, and Dave because we have the 3 highest records.
No, North Texas minus the points. Really good play this weekend as well.
Is that your play?
I got a text with that one, too.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
yeah.
TCU is the pick of the
Wait,
week.
say it again?
Yeah.
North
North Texas is a good play. That's not my pick of the week, but
Toledo and North Texas, I got those 2 texted to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like North Texas a lot.
All right, there you go. That's
I like Toledo too.
That's Unnecessary Roughness. We'll see you Saturday night.